Hey strangers, welcome to another episode of the Strange Sessions. As always, I am Krista. With me is Kurt, and we have another K here today. Oh, it's Kory's with us today.
Hello.
Hello, Kory. Thank you for joining us again for this season 6 finale.
Ooh, it's a somber occasion.
You're welcome.
Unreal.
Welcome. Hey, quickly, before I forget, if you don't want to sit through the chit-chat at the beginning of the episode, check the show notes. Kurt will have posted the timestamp of the actual topic start.
Yes, he will. Oh, was it my stomach or was that
That
your
was
stomach?
Kory.
That was Kory's stomach.
Does it run in the family?
No, I probably need more of my energy drink.
He did have three burritos, 3 McDonald's burritos, breakfast burritos on the way down.
I did.
We were talking about how you can't burp at my family Thanksgiving, as you do. And Jim he didn't believe me. He had to Google it. And he's like, it was recently discovered that there are people who can't burp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure Kurt's known that his whole life. I'm
Yeah.
glad they've recently discovered that.
That's why I drink flat Coke or flat Pepsi. I can drink a soda, but if I drink like a lot of soda, that's why I can't drink a lot of beer either.
What's the one thing I can't do?
Hiccup.
Yep.
You can't hiccup?
I've never hiccuped.
Oh, that's
I
actually
rarely hiccup.
You're lucky, actually, because you can
Hiccups
get the
suck.
hiccups,
No.
and
Hiccups
I've actually
suck.
gotten a headache from having hiccups. I mean, it's been years. Oh God, not
Hiccups suck.
They do.
That was bodily functions talk with Kurt, Krista, and Kory. I want to give shout-outs to our newest listeners, and one of them I forgot because he joined yesterday, and I want to get that in.
James something?
Yes, I want to get that in now because
I prefer to not call him James something, so yeah, let's look it
we
up.
should just call our listeners
Rosie
something, somebody or other, somebody from Ohio.
Joe Schmo.
Joe Schmo. So I want to give shout-outs to our newest listeners, and those are Marie B., Aaron Elizabeth, Matt Rod, James Daniels, and as always, Nora and Paige, my students. I told them that I would give them a last shout-out in the last episode of the season, so Nora and Paige, love you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. To everybody that's joined the Strangers, thank you so much. Laying in bed this morning, I was thinking about 6 seasons and the friends we've made through doing the podcast. It's just, it's unreal. It really is, but hopefully there's another 6 more. I don't know. We're running out of topics.
I'm counting on at least one.
At least one. Yeah, because I pretty much have next season's playlist all organized.
Nice.
Except Kory's
needs an intern?
Kory's going to come on because there's an episode. Somebody did ask. You and I talked about doing that topic, but then a stranger asked us to do that topic. So,
do I even know what this topic is?
No.
It's a complicated topic, I think, kind of, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into there.
A lot of names, and
a lot of names,
a lot of timelines,
that's the website, and
it's
all that stuff. So that's going to be.
I feel like Kory always comes on for the really complicated ones.
He does. He makes them.
No.
Kory and I were talking on the way down about, we'll get to it eventually today, but about the Ben McDaniels with the diving where you had to take your tank off and push your tank through that
You did that episode, right? Yes, I remember that. I did not like it. It was a good episode. But
housekeeping? I know that we were going to say, we've talked about saying where we're planning on going on our little trip next summer. Our
road trip.
And we'll reveal it now that it's nothing super exciting. This is just like a practice.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too because the first place that we're talking about going to, is like a bucket list thing for you. Yeah.
Even though I think we may have debunked it.
We totally poo-pooed that one.
Well, we didn't debunk it. I think other people have. Although I've gotten some strongly worded messages on Instagram.
The second place we're going, I've always wanted to go to. I've always wanted to go to Washington Island. We talked about the Bitters Club. I've always wanted to go to Washington Island, but this next one is the second best, and it supposedly has 12 haunted places on it. So the plan is that we are going to drive up to Paulding, Wisconsin, and see the Paulding lights that we referred
Fingers
to
crossed.
Back in episode. I have them all listed here. Paulding lights.
That was one of my mini mysteries.
It was back. It was season 2, episode 12. We talked about Paulding lights.
2?
Yep.
It's like 2018.
Yeah, so that was a while ago. So we're going to go up to Paulding. We're going to see the Paulding lights, and then we are going to drive over through the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
The UP,
And we are going to go to, what's it called now?
Mackinac Island.
Mackinac Island.
See, is it Mackinac or Mackinac?
I think it's Mackinac.
If you Google it, I think it's Mackinac.
No, I think it's Mackinac because I've heard people talk about Mackinac Island.
I've heard people say both.
Okay, we're going to go to either Mackinac Island or Mackinac Island.
I'm literally Googling it because I think I've tried Googling Mackinac Island and Mackinac Island.
And I think that's one that we have to leave the car at a dock, and then we have to take a ferry to the island. Yeah. Okay. But it's spelled Mackinac, but it's pronounced
maybe it's
Mackinac.
pronounced Mackinac.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's where we're thinking about going. There's at least a dozen haunted places supposedly there.
I'm going to keep calling it Mackinac.
And we're going to
Island.
stop at a couple places along the way because up at the
Yeah.
tip of Lake Michigan is a lighthouse that's supposed to be haunted.
Sweet.
So I'm going to look over our break coming up at places that we can maybe stop at. We can maybe even, we're going to figure, we don't know exactly
Also,
when
if you're
or
from
where.
that area and you want us to stop somewhere,
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah.
Who's driving?
Jim, I
I
think.
think
Okay,
Jim's
good.
I
driving.
think Jim's
I wonder
driving.
if Jim
Good.
knows he's driving.
Because I don't want Kurt driving.
No,
Oh, funny.
because they would be haunted areas of Maribel. Because I'm not going to drive
We'll
very
end
far.
up in Iowa somewhere.
Yeah, we'll end up somewhere. But that is the plan. We're going to go check out the
Yeah.
Paulding Lights. We're going to go to Mackinac Island, and we're going to check a couple places along the way.
And I've heard, well, we did an episode. Michigan is actually kind of a hot spot for Bigfoot.
Yes,
too,
but
so.
we're going to have a Strange States Michigan episode
Mm-hmm.
early next season. But then I think before we do the Mackinac trip, we're going to have an episode about the places we're going to be stopping at.
Okay.
And then we're
Yeah.
going to do little live broadcasts. But this is just so we can figure out what the hell we're doing, like because we've only recorded here or at the school.
Mm-hmm.
We've never recorded anywhere other than this. So, like I said, I don't want us to go to the Stanley, stay a weekend, and then find out we didn't save any of our audio from our.
That doesn't sound like us.
Oh yeah, doesn't sound like us at all. By the 10th season, we'll have stuff nailed down. Yeah, if you're a coffee subscriber and you listen to the pre-show banter, it's usually Krista trying to figure out why something's not working. As me checking my microphone about half a dozen times, making sure that's on. So, but yeah, that is the plan. Paulding Lights, Mackinac Island, and stuff in between and around.
Yeah, you got to make sure you let everybody know where you're going to be so you can
Exactly
have a meetup.
what time we're going to be there, what hotel room
Yep,
we're going to be
exactly.
staying in.
So
Please
everybody,
don't say that. We love you, but
Do we have any other housekeeping?
I would mention again, if you haven't heard, we have a book club.
Yes, we do.
We're two episodes in.
I
Yes.
loved our episode about Joyland.
Yeah.
Like the
See,
feedback.
and I think the Skype worked just fine. You were all
didn't like
worried.
it. I don't like it. I'm just very Skypeist. I just don't like it.
Skypeist.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I thought it worked fine.
But I thought that was a great episode. I loved
Yeah.
all the feedback.
Me too.
I love that Lauren Kelly and I were on
On a weird
wavelength
yeah.
where I said all the same stuff she
Yes.
basically did, and I didn't know she said any of that. So yeah, it was just, and I love that book so much. But
So yeah, our December book is the
Midnight
Library,
by Matt Haig.
and then
Krista
January's.
bought it for me. Thank you,
I
Krista.
did. That's his Christmas present. And then January's book is Stephen King's newest book. Well, I don't know if it's his newest book now. Fairy Tale.
It's very big
Start reading it now, people.
because it is very big.
It's a very big book.
But it's good. It was
a
good.
good book, yeah.
I don't think I liked it as much as Krista did.
Yeah, I loved it.
But it was good. Corey, what do you think?
I don't read books anymore.
Okay.
It used to be a thing for me to do in pastime and enjoyed it, but
Now you just watch a lot of
no.
shows.
And especially fiction. I'm not a big fan of fiction. It's always been nonfiction stuff.
That's why I'm trying to read more fiction. I need to get into more fiction. Should we jump into the taste tests? Do we have any other housekeeping?
I don't think so. Probably, but I don't. Nothing that.
Do we want to start with? Do we want to start? Oh, should we open that package first?
Oh, and we got a postcard. A postcard.
A postcard. We got a postcard.
Whatever that is. Let me
Postcard.
open So this is a postcard from
Shayna.
Shayna Shalou.
Sent back in August.
Because that's how we roll. Kurt and Krista, let me put my glasses on. That's not what the postcard says. Kurt and Krista, you all need to visit Savannah on your cross-country road trip. Super haunted and beautiful cemeteries. Visited Bonaventure. It's stunning. Stay strange. Someone also said we need to visit that clown hotel. I think that's on Route 66,
Yeah.
though. So someday
I'm pretty
when we
sure
do that.
Adam and Sophie have been to Savannah, and I think their
Oh, yeah,
wedding
they
stuff
sent-
was down there, and I think
you're
I think
right.
Sophie loved it.
I think you're
Sophie
right.
said it was amazing. So cool. Thank you so much for the postcard, Shayna.
This is a really pretty.
Right?
Yeah, that's really
That's
cool.
why it's been sitting in the back seat of my car for the last 4 months.
Because it's so pretty?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're taking a road trip to Georgia in March.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about flying, but with the prices of tickets, I think we're going to drive, and it's
Uniqlo
like
and the
Also,
kids?
just the reliability
13.
of flights.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up with an 8-hour
Send Grayson
layover.
and Asher into the haunted plantation
it's
with
like
some
a
recorders and stuff.
13-hour drive, and I asked
Quarters.
Nicole, I'm like, where do you want
Huh?
to stop?
With some
Digital
quarters?
recorders.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said quarters.
No, send them with quarters.
Like, is
Payphone.
there something I don't know about?
Use a payphone. Yeah, I asked her where we were going to stop at like the 7 or 8 hour mark, and she's like, I think we're just going to go all the way through. I'm like 13 and a half hours of driving. It's
These
like,
are taste tests. So
Ooh.
this is from Anne.
Okay.
I don't think we wanted to say her last name, right? Ooh.
No.
Is there an actual? Look what I remember.
Yay.
Oh, it's just
Ooh,
a blank
Van- it's a
postcard.
Van
Yeah, it's
Gogh.
a Van Gogh. Oh, there's a couple.
Ooh,
Tacoma.
pretty.
So we have a couple postcards.
Thank you.
Very cool. There's only one taste test in here.
Okay.
Oh, there's another postcard. It says, "Stay strange, love Anne."
That's awesome.
Tacoma. All right, are we gonna do this taste test?
We have 3 then because we want to have some of that candy from. We want to try that candy from Stephanie.
Okay. Yes. What are we saving for?
Or do we want to save the? Let's save the
for
candy. I don't.
the
If there is a
mythological-
Christmas, let's save the candy
If
for.
we were gonna do a Christmas episode,
yeah,
we should
let's save the good
for
candy
that.
along with the other
So are we
candy
gonna
going
do
to
this
try.
now?
Yeah, and then we're going to try the one that Aaron gave us.
Ooh, this looks kind of good. Almonds. You can eat almonds, right?
Oh yeah, I love almonds.
Almond roca.
Ooh.
Butterscotch. Oh, butter crunch with almonds. Do you want to look at the ingredients though, just to make sure there's nothing in here you
Corey.
can't have?
Yeah, we should always have a third
See,
person
we don't
here.
have to throw stuff when Corey's,
Corey's
here.
here.
We just want to make sure Kurt's not going to die today.
Nope, I should be good.
Okay.
This is going to be way better than the taste test Aaron got for us.
What taste test?
The one sitting back
Oh,
here.
the one I don't know about yet.
The one
Yep.
that you're not. Yeah.
Okay, let me take a picture of this. Who's Aaron?
Aaron, that you're geocache with.
Oh, Aaron. Sorry.
You are spacey today.
I am.
It's, are you drinking ayahuasca?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you see the wheel?
You said it right again.
He did say it right again.
I was surprised how much feedback we got on the wheel. That people have seen it and stuff.
Yeah, me too. Dang. Okay. Ugh. It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't grunt while opening something.
Yes.
Did you notice our little Christmas truck over there?
Oh,
Isn't that
no,
cute?
I like it.
Oh, this is fun. They're wrapped up in little foils.
Corey can eat almonds.
Are you allergic to anything, Corey?
No.
Okay. I actually, when we have our season opener, I'll have Christmas candy for Kurt, and I might send some
Oh,
along for you.
thank you.
It'll be frozen because I make it long before then. But
I'm just going to leave the foil on.
Interesting. It's like a little.
Oh, it smells weird.
It does. Not.
Doesn't smell what I expected.
Oh, me either. Weird. I just smell like the almonds, I guess.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm going to take a little bite. Oh.
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 Oh. Oh, it's like a Heath bar.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's delicious.
That's not what I was expecting, but it's really good.
I'll take a picture of the center.
Holy cow.
Oh, that's really good.
That is.
It's not like overly sweet.
No,
or
it's like a
anything.
really good Heath bar.
Yum.
Out of 10? Corey?
I like a 7.
7.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm going with it. Jeez. I'm going with a 9.
I'm going with a 9.
Wow. Feel bad now.
Live your truth, Corey.
I don't think Heath would be like one of the first things I would grab if I was
It's one of
candy
my
bar
favorites.
wise.
Remember to talk louder.
I am.
He just got told.
I got curded.
That's really good.
I got to take a picture of these. Kurt's having a foodgasm. Mm-hmm. Okay, what are we doing next?
Okay, next one's not going to be as good.
Oh, great. This is the drink.
This is from Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Aaron's going to come on next season so you can thank him in person.
We should save some for him.
He's had it. Aaron's had it. I've had it. Corey's had it. Now you get to have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Um,
I'm going to use my Kill and Miss and Hidden mug.
it is a little late for this,
Oh.
but you finally get to try. We've talked about it several
Why is
times.
it a little late?
You finally get to try the Jones soda turkey and gravy flavored.
You have talked about this.
Yes,
Okay.
Aaron found it at Meijer, and I said buy
Oh,
that
really?
buy that for us because Krista needs to try that.
Oh, I'm scared. This is going to be so gross. I'm kind of imagining it just tasting like carbonated chicken
It does.
broth.
It tastes like carbonated gravy. There's really no smell. Should we save?
Can you take a picture of it?
Well, pass it over to Krista. She can take as much as she wants.
And
Fill your mug.
He took the cover off, so
Fill your mug.
okay. It's deceptive. It looks like beer.
It does look like beer.
Okay.
So fill your mug.
Well, I'm not.
It doesn't smell like anything.
No, it doesn't smell like anything. Okay. Ugh.
So it hasn't been released for 10 years, and they brought it back.
Yeah,
this
they brought
year.
it back.
Here you go.
I want to drink it out of the
It's
bottle. No,
very
you have some.
fizzy.
I'll have some.
You got to have some.
Yeah. We're in this together, Kory.
I'm drinking it right out of the bottle.
Straight out the bottle.
Yeah, why did I grab 3 mugs? That was kind of... Anyway.
Underneath the bottle cap, it says, "You can do anything."
Okay, well, thanks for the vote of confidence.
This is from Aaron. Aaron, love you. Thank you so
you.
much for this. Aaron's going to be on next season. He is flying through our seasons now. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Jones Soda, turkey and gravy. Oh, that's not bad at all. Oh, there's a little.
Okay, I still have a little bit of the chocolate aftertaste in my mouth, so...
There's a little hint of salt. But it doesn't taste like really turkey-ish.
It tastes like really weak caramel. That's what
Yeah,
I
a
get.
little bit, yeah. The carbonation kind of hides the flavor.
But I get a real little aftertaste of gravy. When you and I tried this, it was way stronger.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, I don't know if I taste gravy.
That aftertaste it's the aftertaste that's getting to me.
I wish people could see our faces right
Yeah,
now.
because we're just looking at each other.
making the same
We're all looking
face.
around at each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even get the gravy. I just get like a real weak caramel, like just barely noticeable caramel.
It's it's like a soda that has maybe gone a little skunky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
But when you and I tried this, it was way turkier.
maybe they changed their formula.
Yeah,
They
it was-
probably lightened it up for lightweights.
I remember it being different.
I see what you're saying with the smell.
Yeah. But I taste, there's an aftertaste of gravy, like salty gravy.
Okay, I kind of get
Yeah.
that. Now that the sort of candy taste is out of my mouth, weird.
I
But
remember.
I mean, I would drink this.
Well, you are right now.
I know, but I would
I'm just
willingly
kidding.
drink it. I would buy it and drink it at school to freak out the kids.
Yeah, people will look at it right away and just say no, but it's not.
It's not that
really
bad.
what you
No,
think.
it's not that bad.
Huh. I'm a little disappointed. But
I
we
mean,
still got
okay, what are you giving it for a score?
I'm giving it a 7
Wow.
because it's
Yeah.
kind of good.
Yeah, I mean, going
Oh,
into it knowing what I thought it was going to taste like, or remember it tasting like, to
It's
what
an
it is now,
improvement?
I'll give it an 8.
Wow.
Now you rated it higher than me. I actually kind of like it.
I'm giving it a 6.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I kind of like it. Now, if our potential Christmas episode, potential taste test we got for that is as good, I'll be very surprised.
But when we had it with a 5-pack, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because it had the
pumpkin
it
pie.
had the Brussels sprout soda, it had the pumpkin pie, it had
Brussels sprout soda.
that is the worst liquid I've ever drank in my life. Was the Brussels? It was Brussels sprout and prosciutto or something,
Yeah.
or buttered Brussels
There's just
sprout.
some things you don't
But
need to
I
make
said
into
the word.
soda.
The other one that was really bad was the stuffing, the wild rice stuffing.
Yeah.
And herbs, wild rice and herb stuffing. And I remember because somebody else online said the same thing I did, that it tasted like
Sage.
no, it tasted like Excedrin dissolved in dishwater. Like that's exactly what it tastes like was
Gross.
Excedrin.
Okay.
And then we went after that. We thought I thought it'd be fun to get a different 5-pack or 6-pack.
Yeah, you got the one with the
We got the cream corn,
it had cream
Sweet
corn.
corn.
It had the
peanut butter and jelly.
the peanut butter and jelly one was good.
That sounds like that would
But
be
the
good.
other Jones soda one I
feel
have,
like sodas should be sweet.
Ranch
Not savory.
dressing,
the ranch dressing one
Oh,
was
gross.
buffalo wing,
the buffalo wing one wasn't bad.
So is it
'Cause
all from the same? Is it
No,
all,
this was a
oh,
different
okay.
company.
and bacon were the 6.
Yeah, the
Ugh.
bacon one was
Bacon.
gross because it was the fakey tasting
Yeah,
bacon.
the-
Yeah.
artificial.
Fakin.
Yeah, it was fake.
That's what I call it. Bacon.
This is good. I actually kind of like this.
I'm gonna take a quick video while we're talking. Hey everybody!
Hi, guys.
Wow, this is awkward.
It is super awkward.
I mean, the Jones sodas themselves, like the actual, like
Jones sodas
colas
are
and
really
cherries,
good.
those are really good.
I've always loved Jones Soda. I loved what they started doing with the sending your pictures and they'll put them on the labels,
Yep.
which I thought was really
that's
cool.
fun.
Yeah. Except this one has a picture of a turkey on it.
So is all of their soda like odd?
No,
Like
there's
weird
a
themed?
green apple. They have fufu berry is like their most popular one.
See, that's
Yeah.
odd to me though. You
Why?
know what I mean? Where else do you buy green apple soda?
I don't know, but they have like strawberry sodas. They have
like a blue raspberry.
They have blue raspberry. They do have regular flavored sodas, but that was their thing, was that you could send them a photo and they would put it on a label and sell it in the stores, which was cool.
That's fun. And you got that at Meyer?
Yeah. Yep, Meyer has these, but I expected this to be grosser. I actually kind of like
like
it.
a more of a gravy taste. Like
You got gravy we can add to this?
No. I
Okay.
don't just have gravy on hand. Okay, are we opening something from Stephanie?
No, but we're going to save that
Oh, yeah, that's right.
candy for the Christmas one. Oh, if there's a Christmas one.
If there were
going to be a Christmas one that
we're so
that we
consistent
were
with this
potentially
theme.
recording right after this.
Okay.
Is that it? Do we have anything else?
I feel like we're forgetting something
We got a list here.
We do.
that we never reference.
Yeah, that I got my computer sitting on top of.
Kory's here.
Kurt's song choice, no questions. Take candid photos.
I'm on the candid photos, guys.
You are. Questions we do at the end. I think that's it.
All right.
Jump into today's topic.
Let's do it.
Well, as you guys know, it is the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
I am burnt out on researching stuff. So this is just looking back at our previous... Do you know how many episodes we have, Krista?
Oh,
this does not count...
I think it's like 135.
This does not count the side sessions. We're not counting side
Nope.
sessions.
I would say like 135.
130. We have 130 episodes of the Strange
Nice.
Sessions, including the side sessions. It's got to be 45. We got to be edging up near 150.
Because we just started those this year, right?
Last year.
Oh, we did?
I think we started at the end of last year. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, we are going to be looking back at our previous 130 episodes. So settle in. We got
Strap
updates.
yourselves in.
Yeah, we got updates on some of these. Some of these we don't. Some of these we don't remember recording.
Grab your favorite turkey dinner
Grab
soda.
your favorite turkey flavored
blanket.
soda, and you'll be good.
I'm still drinking this.
So you ready? Mm-hmm. Episode 1, Blue Whale. May 14th, 2017. That came out.
2017.
2017, before the world went all pear-shaped on everybody.
Mm-hmm. What shape was it before that?
It was perfectly round.
Oh,
flat.
okay.
It was flat. No, it wasn't flat. We'll get to that. We'll get to that episode pretty soon. But no, Blue Whale was our first episode. I've seen, like, when I do a search now on Blue Whale, there's, like, people that have killed themselves in, like, Iraq and in Egypt, that it's blamed on the blue whale. But I don't see, like, a lot of stories from the United States.
I just saw a headline recently, and I texted you.
And I looked, and I couldn't find it.
Oh, really?
Anything. No. There were some from this year, but it was, like, from Turkey, where somebody killed themselves, and it was linked to the blue whale stuff. But you just don't really hear about it anymore, which is good.
I think it was one of those fads, social media things that came and went.
Yeah.
Thankfully, fairly quickly.
Yeah, but now it's TikTok trends and stuff like that, so it's
Tide
just a matter.
Pods,
Yeah,
just like
Tide
that.
Pod, eating Tide Pods.
Oh, boy.
It's just a matter, like we had our thing at school where you would get TikTok clout if you vandalized the bathroom.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Really?
and that turned into a thing. So it's just morphing.
Specific to your school, or was it a TikTok thing?
It was a TikTok
okay.
thing nationwide. So then they were monitoring the bathrooms. But it's morphed into other things. But the blue whale is still out there because it is still showing up in news in other countries. Episode 2 of Season 1, Paranormal Investigations, where you and I talked about some of the myths and some of what it was actually like to be on an investigation. Not much more to say about that one. We haven't really done any. The last kind of investigations we did were at the school when we were there.
By the way, nothing weird has happened here since
Good.
last
Since last week.
recorded. Yeah.
Episode 3 of Season 1 was reality. That's, as you guys know, that's one of the things that I love talking about is the weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a little update for this, and this freaks me out more than I think it should, but this is actually from November 30th of this year. Okay. So this just happened.
Last week? This week?
Yep. According to an article on Reuters. Thank you, Kory. According to a November 30th article on Reuters, quote, scientists build baby wormhole as sci-fi moves closer to fact.
I saw that article too.
Researchers announced on Wednesday that they forged 2 minuscule simulated black holes, those extraordinarily dense celestial objects with gravity so powerful that not even light can escape, in a quantum computer and transmitted a message between them through what amounted to a tunnel in space-time. It was a baby wormhole, according to Caltech physicist Maria Spiropouli. But scientists are a long way from being able to send people or other living beings through such a portal, she said. There's a difference between something being possible in principle and possible in reality, added physicist and study co-author Joseph Liken of Fermilab, America's particle physics and accelerator laboratory. He says, quote, "So don't hold your breath about sending your dog through the wormhole." Why would you send your dog through a wormhole?
That's just mean.
But you have to start somewhere. And I think, to me, it's just exciting that we're able to get our hands on this at all. The researchers observed the wormhole dynamics on a quantum computer at Google called the Sycamore Quantum Processor. A wormhole, a rupture in space-time, is considered a bridge between two remote regions in the universe. Scientists also refer to them as Einstein-Rosen bridges after the two physicists who described them, Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen. Such wormholes are consistent with Einstein's theory of relativity, which focuses on gravity, one of the fundamental forces in the universe. The term wormhole was coined by physicist John Wheeler in the 1950s. Spyro Pulu said that the researchers found a quantum system that exhibits key properties of a gravitational wormhole, but was small enough to implement on existing quantum hardware. The researchers said, though, that no rupture of space-time was created in physical space in the experiment, though a traversable wormhole appeared to have emerged based on quantum information teleported using quantum codes on the quantum processor. That quantumly freaks me out that it's going to happen at some point where they're going to create a wormhole. You know, and when you think about the ramifications of that.
Right. Like we all get sucked into it and they're like,
Exactly. But there are some people that think that's what happened, and that's why reality is wonky now, and that's why we have the Mandela effect, which we'll be talking about later too.
Yeah.
So that's that creeped me out when I read that.
A little bit.
Yeah. So that's reality.
You just feel like they shouldn't be messing with that stuff, right?
Exactly.
Like the Hadron Collider always makes me just a tiny bit nervous.
Season 1, Episode 4, Elisa Lamb. And we updated that one, actually. We did have updates on that.
After that Netflix special, I think basically it just kind of fell off.
I was going to put it in here, but I didn't know how many updates to really put in here, so it didn't get super long. But there was somebody kind of ripping on was it the Netflix show about it, saying that it sensationalizes the paranormal or weird part of it, when they said it was really just a girl having a mental episode.
But I thought the Netflix one is what actually convinced me that there was nothing paranormal
maybe
about
it did, but this person was just like upset that it's like making it sound to be something other than a mentally troubled girl.
It's funny because
herself.
someone had a meme that I look for someone who loves you the way that manager loves the hotel. She was like so infatuated with the hotel. It was so weird.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still an intriguing story.
Yeah, with like the mannerisms in the video. If there wouldn't have been a video, I think it would have been simply a
totally normal.
I was going to say that too. If there wouldn't have been that video in the elevator, it would have come and gone as
I totally agree
as a tragic accident or a suicide.
Were you on that episode where we did like an update, or was that Devin?
No, Kory was on that episode when we did the Elisa Lamb update.
Yes.
I know we had
that was
guest.
Way later.
Yep.
Season 1, Episode 5, Mothman. And we've touched on Mothman several times throughout the series. I think next season we're probably going to have another episode about Mothman sightings in Wisconsin.
Nice.
You know, that's when it would be nice to get
Do we? Yeah, Tobias.
To talk to Tobias.
I hear you.
Season 1, Episode 6. I don't know what this is. Something called Missing 411.
Yeah, that was a flash in the pan.
Yeah,
right?
no, so that's actually how I think most of our listeners find us
too.
is the Missing 411 stuff.
Agreed. Yeah.
And we like dove into the Missing 411 stuff pretty thoroughly back in the day.
Oh yeah, we did.
You know,
and we're still diving into it. We do at least one or two.
Now we're doing
per
individual
season.
episodes. Yep. Season 1, Episode 7, Shadow People. Was that the one that Joe came in on?
He was the reality episode, I thought.
No, Joe was, I think, Shadow People.
Was it?
I think so, because
I don't remember.
I think it was because we went way off. We were jumping around from Illuminati to this to that to Area 51.
It's a tendency
to all this
when
stuff.
Joe's around.
Yeah, so I think that was the one that he popped in at, and
Okay.
that one went off the rails in a good way. Season 1, Episode 8, Area 51. Jamie was here with us for that episode. Jamie was here, I think, for 2 episodes. That was the first episode Jamie was in, was Area 51. And do you have updates for Area 51?
No. I don't have anything for that one.
Yeah, FYI, Kory and Kurt both showed up with notes for today's episode.
It's got nothing.
I did nothing.
The update I have was from December 10th, 2021, where it said on Fox 8 Live, which is a news station, I'm guessing, police said that a man drove a limo through fences at the McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas on Wednesday in order to steal a jet to fly to Area 51.
Wow.
The man told police that he wanted to go look at aliens.
Dang.
So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's ambitious.
But then something also happened where, well, of course, September 20th, Kory's birthday, 2019 was supposed to be the Area 51 raid that was kind of all over the news, and that was supposed to happen.
Nothing ever happened, right?
No.
Okay.
Nothing ever happened. People did show up and stuff, but it didn't turn bad.
You chickened out, probably.
Yeah, but November of this year, November 22nd, 2022, article on Sky.com, and this was in the news. I remember seeing this. Officers entered the properties of, God, I just named George Arnoux in Las Vegas and the town of Rachel, Nevada, which is close to the Area 51 defense facility, earlier this month as part of a joint investigation, authorities confirmed but gave no further details. The blogger operates a site called Dreamland Resort, which focuses on Area 51, an Air Force base about 120 miles northwest of Las Vegas, where testing is conducted on classified military aircraft. Started by Mr. Arnoux in 1999, it included satellite images of the base, articles on test flights, black projects, and UFOs, drone videos of locations around Area 51, and details on the scanner frequencies. Confirming the raid, Lieutenant Colonel Byron McGarry, a spokesman for Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, said in a statement, quote, "This is an open and ongoing law enforcement investigation between the Las Vegas FBI and Air Force OSI, or Office of Special Investigations." In a news release posted on his website, Mr. Arnoux said, quote, "I believe the search, executed with complete unnecessary force by overzealous government agents, was meant as a message to silence the Area 51 research community." He said that each of his homes had been raided on November 3rd by up to 20 agents in full riot gear. So they went in, they stormed,
Guns a-blazing.
they went in guns a-blazing, and what they all were looking for, we don't know. But, you know, it is a top secret military aircraft facility. So they're not going to really want you sending drones up and taking videos.
I mean, any military installation, I mean, we even have a no-fly zone
Yeah.
over the nuclear plants, and we can't have drones or airplanes go over. They have to avoid it. So even something as, I don't want to say simple as a nuclear plant, but a military base, you're not going to be allowed anywhere near it. So to think you're just going to be able to waltz
that's
up
where
to
Dennis
it.
Miller said that. Dennis Miller said, do people think that when you go to Area 50, they invite you in for cheese and wine and walk you around and show you where everything is? You know, so yeah, that's Area 51 is still a thing, but I still think if there was anything significantly alien-wise or whatever there, that got moved long ago, because everybody and their barber knows where Area 51 is now. So it's
there's a found footage movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen
No,
that?
I
It's
haven't.
actually pretty good.
I heard it was, but
actually
I have not
creeped me
seen
out.
it. About Area 51?
Yeah,
I
it
have
was
not
pretty
seen
good.
it.
I think it's actually called Area 51. I could be wrong.
Okay. Season 1, Episode 9, more Murray. There it is.
So
there's the elephant in the room.
Ironically, which is some people's favorite episode.
there are some updates on that one. One is, like the easiest one is, there's a Reddit user. The Reddit user is Fulk, and some combinations of Fulk, F-U-L-K. He actually filed a lawsuit against the Attorney General of the state of New Hampshire to get records to Maura Murray's case. It's ongoing. I believe he had an update on Reddit not too long ago. I'm trying to see when. About a day, there was an update. And the first part of this trial was just basically informational. The judge kind of wanted to know what he or she, I think it's a he, I think Fulk is a he, basically what he was trying to get. And he's trying to get any governmental records that include any information attained by the government, which would also be the police. They had an argument about what the definition of information is, which they came to the conclusion that it's data of any kind and in whatever physical form kept or maintained, including but not limited to written, visual, or other physical forms.
So are they thinking that there's still stuff being held back?
Yes.
Like with the Delphi murders, that there was stuff, because you don't want to release everything, because that way you're going to know.
That's strategic.
Yeah.
And I think because so much time has passed,
that's what I was
if
gonna
they're
ask,
not willing to release that stuff, then at least let the public be able to use it and see if they can come up with, you know, one of the things he wants is photographs of her car. He actually wants to go to the impound lot and take
I've seen tons of photographs of her car online.
Yeah, it's just, you can see it sitting next to a fence and it's just
Yeah.
starting to fall apart.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do that. So it's still kind of ongoing. He still has another upcoming couple hearings, but his TLDR of the whole thing for what he posted yesterday was, the judge is going to decide whether I have the right to photograph Maura's car, and the Attorney General has 30 days to decide whether to give us some or all of the 27 documents I requested. And then the judge will decide whether we should get any of the documentation that the Attorney General doesn't give us.
So this isn't someone who's like related to the family, or they're
No.
just someone like us who wants to know the outcome.
Took it upon
Like
himself to file a
the-
lawsuit, and
Like the subreddits for that have turned into just like
it's so toxic.
it's very toxic, and then it's this person's accusing this person of just of not really caring about Maura Murray and wanting just to get famous, and then this other person's talking about this person lying.
Speaking on the toxic issues going on with Maura Murray's, Julie Murray, her sister, has been trying to stop any kind of public events going on where people talk about this. They actually stopped a live podcast, kind of like you guys would do if you wanted to.
Seriously?
Yeah, they stopped it on August 18th. I can't remember the name of the podcast, but it was a very popular podcast. It was in Minneapolis.
It wasn't Missing Maura Murray, was it?
No. They had the two guys from Missing Maura
really?
Murray were supposed to go, and they basically got a letter saying that, the family and Julie Murray would rather not sensationalize her death, and they basically stopped the podcast from having that section of the event, and they told the two guys from Missing Maura Murray not to show up.
Wow.
And they also stopped James Renner from ever going to any more CrimeCon events.
Wow, really?
Yeah. That Julie Murray, Maura's sister, got James Renner banned from any CrimeCon events
Dang.
because he, if I can remember this correctly,
Well, he's very...
like
Does he
polarizing.
accuse her dad?
He was
or-
the
Yes,
one that
yeah,
originally
he very
started
much
all this.
accuses her
Yeah.
dad.
And he's changed his ideas over time, which is good because if new information pops up, you should be able to have the ability to change your mind on who you think or what you think happened. I think he has a young child, and he went to go to this CrimeCon event, and there was a note basically threatening him laying next to the crib or the stroller or whatever. So he went to Julie Murray, who was also at the event, and said something along the lines of, call your dogs off. You shouldn't be involving my family in this. So I guess he was pretty heated. They kind of got into an argument. She was able to get him
God,
kicked
I didn't
out.
know any of this.
Kicked out. And then the following week, CrimeCon, I guess, may have sub-events where it goes from state to state or city to city. So at the next event, he was told he couldn't even go to. So basically that's what it is. You pick sides on what you think happened or who you align yourself with.
But I get it, because at this point, it's almost not even about her anymore.
It's about making
It's about
themselves-
making
Right.
themselves right. That somebody
Yes.
wants to prove themselves as right. That my theory is right and yours is wrong.
And
Yeah.
also, it's just a popular topic.
I think
so-
that came up in that. I wish I had that quote down, but the guy that said that about Elisa Lam, and I think he compared that to the Maura Murray thing. He said it's a girl that got pulled over and ran out of her car, and it's more the lore built up around
Totally.
the mystery of it than it is actually caring about
people
what
love a
happened
good
to her.
mystery. Yep.
I guess in a related thing on that, one of the things we always wanted to do was the Brandon Lawson case.
Yeah.
I don't know if he called 911. He had a really deep Southern Texas accent.
We never did the story about him.
Yeah, we never did it.
But
in
we had
case-
listeners suggest that.
Yeah.
The name is familiar. Go on.
He I don't know if he got into a fight with a girlfriend and he took off and he ran out of gas and he called 911 and it was like this really kind of rambling, hard to understand 911 call saying that he had some guys following him and there was something with state troopers, and basically he said that he went into the woods to avoid either getting into an argument or he just went into the woods and then nobody ever heard from him again. So kind of similar to Maura Murray. He went missing in 2013, and on January 15th of 2022, 1 mile from the truck that ran out of gas, they found, well, I'll just read it. Facebook family and friends, it's with a heavy heart bringing you this news update about our son Brandon Lawson. On Saturday, January 15th, a search team went to the Bronte, Texas area, led by Jason Watts, to search another piece of property which Jason had gotten permission to enter upon to look for clues or items of Brandon's. After countless sweeps of the property, they had one more part where they were advised no one ever went into the back of the property. They went, searched it anyway. There the discovery was made of 2 Nike Air Max tennis shoes, one 50 to 75 feet ahead of the other, embedded in the dirt. They were found, and then another article was found of clothing that it was an MMA-style camouflage shorts. So yes, with a heavy heart, they have to tell everyone that it's been confirmed that these are Brandon's. So then a month later or so, the remains were confirmed to be his. So he was only a mile away from the truck.
And that's why people were comparing this to Maura Murray, saying that she, so
probably almost 10 years later.
Yeah, she probably, a lot of people said she probably ran into the woods, wedged herself between a rock and something else, and just passed away. And I totally think that's what happened now. But I just wish someone would find her, A, for closure for the family, and B, to shut down the community of. Because, like with the Delphi murders.
Even if they found her remains, it would not stop people from
but like
speculating.
The Delphi murders subreddit, I used to follow a lot. And now since they arrested this guy, now like a lot of people on the subreddit are like saying that this shows how toxic and crappy a subreddit full of amateur detectives can be. But on the other hand, you have, there are... Look at the Kristen Smart case where the podcaster is basically the one that got that Flores convicted from the podcast, from all the stuff that came out on the podcast, the interviews with people who had run-ins with him. So it's one hand it's bad, and I hate saying it, but how are what we do on here any different? I mean, it's hypocritical of us to call out people making the Maura Murray thing a big mystery. When
but we do one episode on something.
I know, but we're also fascinated by the mystery, so we're not exactly any better because we are into the mystery of it.
I feel like we approach things, though, from a very sensitive way and respectful manner.
There's a way about making it newsworthy versus entertainment worthy.
Newsworthy rather than sensationalist, I guess.
And I think we do the former, not the latter.
Yeah, but ever since that came out about them finding his remains so close to, I think Maura's too. But I still have this weird fantasy where she's alive and she comes on our podcast to reveal it to everybody. But we'll see.
That Brandon Lawson one was one that I always wanted to do as a mini mystery, and I was like, I just kept pushing it off.
I know, I did too, because people suggested it for us,
But for us, we'd have to play that 911 call, and it's not really something we normally do.
No, but that's also where a lot of the fascination comes from, is that there's a phone call, like an audio call involved.
We had a whole episode about that.
Yes, we did. So, Season 1, Episode 10, Personal Paranormal Experiences. That's why my students to this day, when I wear my blue and black flannel shirt to school, everybody's like, oh, Mr. K's got his death shirt on because of the guy I saw crawl out of my bathroom that was wearing that. A lot of people loved that episode. A lot of people said they refused to go to the bathroom at night anymore since that episode.
Dang.
Because that was a heavy, scary episode.
Good thing I wasn't on that one because I wouldn't have volunteered anything because I've never had any.
No, you would have just shot everything down.
I would have.
You would have explained everything. Season 1, Episode 11, The Grinning Man. I kind of don't remember that. I remember a majority of the stories about the Grinning Man are creepypasta, are fake Reddit stuff, but we did one about that anyway, and I don't remember if the time we knew it was fake, but...
I think so.
Yeah.
I wonder if that movie Smile is like inspired by.
It could be, because you get definite Grinning Man vibes off like the.
That looks creepy.
Yeah, it does look creepy. What movie did I watch that I told you to watch?
Can you narrow that down?
It was Barbarian.
Yeah,
we watched that.
Did you?
Yeah.
That was way better.
Yeah.
And everybody, when I read reviews of it,
isn't it HBO Max or something?
Yes,
I don't
HBO
have
Max.
that.
Yeah, HBO Max. Yeah. That's where I watched it. But everybody said you need to go into that not having any idea what it was about, because all of a sudden it turns into...
That's the one that I said it gives me Strangers vibes.
Yeah.
The movie The Strangers.
But it goes from, it just like kind of flips on a dime into like a whole different, because at first with the Airbnb thing, you think it's going to be one kind of movie, then all of a sudden it's like, what? Yeah. So all of a sudden it like switches, but that was a good movie.
Yeah, based on the title, you have no idea. You're thinking it's some kind of like warrior movie.
Yeah, because I don't get why it was called Barbarian.
I don't even understand why it was called Barbarian.
But, but I loved, I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you want a good horror action / whatever kind of movie, it's on HBO Max. It's Barbarians. Go into it knowing nothing about it. And I have a huge crush on the girl that played the main character.
Kurt has a crush on a girl.
I've never heard of her before. I've never.
That Black Phone was good too. If you
that's what Emma, one of my students, went as something from Black Phone for Halloween. That's why I was looking at thrift stores for old black rotary phones. So season 1, episode 12 was empaths. And
I
one
remember
of my
that episode.
students listened to that, and they told me, they said, you're definitely an empath. You know, so even they know that was a good episode. That was
We got a lot of feedback from people on that
We
episode
did.
too. Just like, oh wow, I can totally identify with that or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep. Season 1, episode 13 was the Mandela Effect, our first Mandela Effect episode. And now it's, you know, I'm on the subreddit, but it's just so, like, if somebody forgets where they put their car keys, it's a Mandela Effect.
Yeah.
You know, it's just getting ridiculous. And people now, if originally, if you thought something was wrong, other people could be like, no. But now people are getting really standoffish and saying, no, I'm right. It was this way. And it's just, that whole community is getting kind of toxic. But I still believe the Mandela Effect. Nothing is going to be weirder than the Fruit of the Looms thing. Still to this day, that
To me, it's the Jiffy.
there was not a cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom logo, because I am positive there was. And the James Bond one, where Jaws had braces and the girl that he liked smiled and had braces, and that one just freaks me out too. And the Berenstein Bears. We could just go on. Let's just keep going.
And
Mandela Effect. I mean, if I keep looking, so if there's enough, we'll have another episode next.
So did you
season.
watch that movie? I think there's a Netflix.
No,
or
I
some
did
movie.
not.
Maybe it's
I did not.
Prime. I didn't either. I heard it was not good though.
What annoys me is I hear about a good movie. This happened with Escape Room. I hear about a good horror movie. I go to watch it on Tubi, and I'm like, this sucks. And then it turns out that's a knockoff of a good, you know. So, yeah.
You're watching the generic version.
Watching the Great Value brand Escape Room movie. Season 1, episode 14, The Year in Strange. That was...
We must have been getting to the end of the season.
Yep. What was The
Okay.
Year in Strange the birth of?
Year in
for
Strange,
us?
The birth of
The Year in Strange was the birth of something that we do.
taste test.
Yes, because
Ooh.
after every story, we did one of the Harry Potter jelly beans.
Oh, yes.
So that is where
Those were disgusting.
the taste test was born in
Okay.
season 1, episode 14,
nice.
and season 1, episode 15, final episode of season 1, listener stories.
Oh,
Yep.
that was we did it.
We
in
did in
first
season 1.
We had enough listeners to have a
I
listener
probably made
stories
them all up.
episode. Yeah.
It's all
Probably
made
like
up.
Mark and Rhonda.
It might have been. I thought that too. I'm like, did we have listeners by that time? But we kind of did.
I guess.
But it was people we knew, I think.
mostly.
You know, because I feel like people that we didn't know started trickling in maybe towards middle of season 2. You know. So that brings us to season 2. Season 2 premiered January 29th, 2018.
Missing 411 revisited.
Missing 411 revisited because people love the Missing
We're
411
like,
stuff.
hey, this is pretty catchy.
Yeah.
Give them what
And
they
also,
want.
we just really enjoy Missing 411.
Yeah, we do. So that was Missing 411 Revisited. That was the premiere of season 2. Corey, what was the second episode in season 2?
Well, it's not even a conspiracy anymore. It's true. The Earth is flat.
Yeah, at the Flat Earth episode.
Everybody knows that.
Proven right since
Duh.
then. You go to the one end and then you just warp over to the other end like Pac-Man going
Oh,
through
you
the
don't
tunnel.
just fall off?
You just
No.
fall off and fall forever.
We got some hate mail for that
Forever
too.
and ever.
We did get some hate mail for the...
Yeah. I think there were some
And
nasty
I
comments
still
on
say
YouTube.
to this day, that's the one that we really poo-pooed hard on.
We did.
But it
Yeah, we
deserves
usually
it.
don't poo-poo too hard.
Nope, but I thought about it the other morning when I saw something out on the lake, like one of the barges or whatever, and I could see as it got closer that you could see more of it because the Earth is curved, so it's coming around the curve. So
Is
stop with the flat Earth. Yes,
it
it is. Or that could just be an illusion. That could be a holographic projection. I don't know. But yeah, flat Earth
Simulation.
is simulation. Flat Earth is one we just poo-pooed on. Season 2, episode 3, Skinwalker Ranch. And I
Ooh.
loved season 2 of Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. I know Krista said you didn't
I
care.
couldn't get through season 1 because of that security guy, Dragon or whatever.
Yeah,
All
but
of
like
that
they
just felt
totally
so scripted.
they
to
totally
me.
toned down on that in the second
So that's
season.
why I want to watch season 2, but I feel like I have to finish season 1.
You know,
if I'm
because
gonna
season
watch
1, he's
season
like,
2.
I cannot let you do that.
Right.
I will stop you with any. And then the second season, they ask
like,
him.
"Go
he's,
ahead."
Like, he's like, yeah, whatever you want, do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
like,
So
was
they
it-
toned down on that because I think they did get complaints about that.
Season 1, too, it was with, like, we can't do any drilling or digging.
Mm-hmm.
And like something's going to come out of the earth. And it's just like, come on, just dig your holes or do your drills, whatever you want to do. And it's like every time we do that, something bad happens. It's like, you lost a monitor on your, a monitor got unplugged or something.
no.
You're like,
Yeah.
A monitor got unplugged.
Season
Yeah,
2
but
was really
season
good.
2
though.
was really good. Season 2, there was some like, they caught some stuff on camera that was like, dang, like what was it? That was So season 2, if you watch season 1 and we're like, nah, season 2 is actually, and there's a season 3 which I didn't know about that's not on one of my channels that I have. So I'm trying desperately to watch season 3. Because I love the fact that season 2 they did drill down and then they ended up going up in the air, high in the air to find stuff happening. So it was really good. I think
shoot rockets up there.
Yeah, shoot rockets up. I think it was really well done. I think season 2, and I still.
Do you feel like I have to finish season 1 to watch season 2?
No. Just jump into season 2.
Okay.
But season 2 is very good. 100%.
I think it's on Discovery Plus.
Okay. But watch it because it is really good. And I'm fascinated again with Skinwalker Ranch. But I think one of the theories that they kind of ended the season with was that something crashed into the ground there.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing all this stuff to happen.
Okay.
Whether it was a UFO, whether it was an asteroid, whatever it was. But there is like, if what half of what they show on there is true, where they show the compass spinning around and they show like the radiation all of a sudden, and then the person when they opened that well, the person got the burns, the radioactive burns. So there's something going on there. But Skinwalker Ranch to me is still fascinating, and we could even maybe do another episode about that at some point. The first episode Kory joined us for was season 2, episode 4.
And he'll hopefully be a guest.
He'll hopefully be a
season.
guest. He'll be on the show. John Teeter, our man JT.
Nice.
That people still.
Not Justin Timberlake.
No, we'll have JT here too. But people are still making excuses why his stuff didn't come true.
I did a Google News search for him, and he still has every week. There's somebody talking about, like, whether it's a podcast or a website or whatever.
Where I see it now is that there's all these yahoos on TikTok that are time travelers from 2047, like the guy that had actual pictures of how we lost the soccer match against Iraq that was going to be held like 2 days later. And Iran. And then we ended up not losing to them. Yeah. So it's just like people are just like saying they're a time traveler now with giving specific details in the hopes that comes true. And then all of a sudden, but every one of those references John Teeter.
I just feel like a time traveler wouldn't be on TikTok telling us everything.
No,
TikTok.
The John Teeter story is really good about going back and getting that computer, going back in time to get that computer that had something to prevent was it Unix?
Yeah.
The Unix thing happening in the future. And then people were like, yeah, there actually was an undocumented feature on there that most people didn't know about. And the fact that he did added credibility to his story. So that was a really masterfully done story. But in the end, I think it was just a story.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the time travel thing is just, if there were time travelers, we would know. But now, I don't know if it's because I looked this stuff up. My Google News every day has pictures of somebody, an iPhone, somebody holding up an iPhone, and when it's obviously,
or whatever,
and then somebody else posts like this Kodak camera that came out right around that time that looks exactly like that. They're like, no, it's a camera. So now it's getting kind of ridiculous. Not that John Teeter story wasn't, but it at least had a good base to build the story off of. Season 2, episode 5 was our first My Favorite Mini Mystery. And we didn't have what it was about, so I actually had to go listen to the episode to find out what it was about. It was the Malaysian flight. You did the Malaysian flight, and I did Polybius, the arcade game.
Wow.
Remember that? The arcade game that would like erase your... All of a sudden you'd have missing time and stuff because it was the government testing an arcade game. Yeah, I kind of forgot we did Polybius. I was fascinated by Polybius. I really was. That was our first My Favorite Mini Mystery. Season 2, episode 6.
Poo-poo.
Yeah, it is kind of poo-poo. The Dybbuk box.
Oh.
Sure. So,
that you can now buy on the internet, like
from a
regularly.
July 8th, 2021 article on Inverse.com called, quote, "Finally, the truth behind the haunted Dybbuk box can be revealed."
Finally.
The Dybbuk box on display at the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, and that's... Whose museum is that?
Zach Bagans.
Yep.
No relation to Bilbo.
Yep. Back in 2001, Kevin Manis was out visiting yard sales looking for supplies for his furniture restoration business, a hole-in-the-wall shop located at the base of the Burnside Bridge in Portland, Oregon, when he came across an old wine cabinet from the granddaughter of a recently deceased Holocaust survivor named Havela, who escaped Nazi-occupied Poland. Her parents, brother, sister, husband, 2 sons, and daughter were all killed. She, with other survivors, fled to Spain and lived there till the end of the war. When she immigrated to the U.S. when she was 103, the wine cabinet was only one of 3 items she brought with her. As Mannis paid for the cabinet, the granddaughter said, "I see you bought the Dybbuk box." Mannis wasn't familiar with the term. The granddaughter told him her grandmother always kept it shut and out of reach because there was a Dybbuk, which is in Jewish folklore an evil, restless spirit that possesses the living, trapped inside of it. The seller told Mannis it was never to be opened, and if it was, bad things would happen. He did not heed her warning. And that's when we kind of went into the whole story about how this person gave it to this person gave it to this person, and a number of other mysterious events befell him after he opened it up. His sister got creeped out by it, blah, blah, blah. He listed it on eBay in 2003, calling it a Dybbuk box and saying that he was cursed from this thing. Strange things happened to him and his family. He wanted to get rid of it. And towards the end of the description, he wrote, "Help me." Since then, the Dybbuk box has captured the popular imagination, becoming the stuff of internet legend and commerce. You can buy Dybbuk boxes of all shapes and sizes on Etsy, eBay, and a website even specifically dedicated to them, the Dybbuk Box Store. You can watch people open Dybbuk boxes on YouTube.
Yes.
Asher doesn't do any Dybbuk box opening on YouTube, does he?
No.
Okay.
They're so cheesy, too.
Have
you watched any of those videos?
Yeah. It's said that somebody opened up and it was randomly getting choked, had dreams of a creepy old woman coming to him, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff that we talked about in the episode. In 2012, a movie came out based on the Dybbuk box by Sam Raimi. In the Entertainment Weekly article, it said that really weird things happened during production of the movie about the Dybbuk box and all that. And then the article says, over the past 5 years, Dybbuk fever has hit an all-time high thanks to one man, famed ghost hunter Zach Bagans, the host of Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures show and its slew of spin-offs. In 2016, Haxton sold the box to Bagans for a sum that they would not reveal. That year, Bagans featured both Mannis and Haxton, who have owned the thing, on Ghost Adventures. Deadly Possessions. I've never seen that episode. I've never seen that. I kind of soured on Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
I will say it's called Demon House. I think it's on Discovery Plus. That was actually pretty good.
Was it?
There's the Demon House. I can't remember where this house is, but it's like a couple part series that he films there, and it's actually pretty creepy.
On Ghost Adventures Quarantine, Zach Bagans opened it up and supposedly heard it say Kevin and then evil and then a child's laughter.
Like Kevin, like from Home Alone.
No. Kevin! The show, that would be cool.
That'd be so funny.
The show captured on camera what Bagans and his crew claimed was a figure manifesting inside the box. And Post Malone, who annoys me, opened it, touching. Zach was opened it, and Post Malone was touching him when he opened it, and then Post Malone had all sorts of bad luck or whatever. So of course, over the years, there have been plenty of skeptics. Various reports, including this 2004 Los Angeles Times story and this 2012 Riverfront Times piece, have cast doubts on the legend of the Dybbuk box. In a 2019 column, Skeptical Inquirer magazine writer Kenny Biddle dismissed the haunted wine cabinet and posted a Facebook screenshot from 2015 that kind of makes you think that it's all a hoax. So the author of this article says that he called Mannis, and he says, when I get Mannis online a few days later, he quickly tells me there's no such thing as a Dybbuk box in Jewish folklore and explains to me the origin and meaning of the Hebrew word Dybbuk, which is essentially a spirit that cleaves onto the soul of another living being. It's kind of an oxymoron, he said. Dybbuks don't live in boxes, so a Dybbuk box by definition doesn't make any sense. This confuses me. Is there or is there not a Dybbuk box? So the whole thing was made up, I ask him? The whole backstory of it coming from a Holocaust survivor? No, I'm not saying that, he says. He explains that the Dybbuk box term came from a Holocaust survivor who somehow imbued the wine cabinet with supernatural powers. As he tells me this, he quickly starts stumbling over his words and then quickly changes the subject. I let Mannis go and we agree to talk again. Just over an hour later, he sends me a Facebook message me saying how great it was to talk to him and any assistance he needs with the story he will give him. He says he encourages me to ask him difficult questions, to back him into a corner, and he's not afraid if I call BS on him. So he says...
Just don't do it in person.
No, but then he does. He says, the next time I talk to Mannis, I take him up on his advice. I call him on his BS. That's when he finally tells me that everything he wrote in his 2003 eBay listing is a work of fiction. I'm a creative writer, he says. The Dybbuk box is a story that I created. And the Dybbuk box story has done exactly what I intended it to do when I posted it 20 years ago. Which is what, I ask him. Which is to become an interactive horror story in real time, he says. So then Manus says he did buy the wine cabinet at a yard sale, but it was from an attorney. It wasn't actually from somebody from, the daughter of a Holocaust survivor. The carving in the back of it is my carving, he says. The stone that was in the box is something that is a signature creation of mine also. Make no mistake, I conceived of the Dybbuk box, the name, the term, the idea, and I wrote this creative story around it to post it on eBay. I then verified this with two of his friends, Kurt Morris and Matthew Shaggy Christensen, who worked with Manus at a bar at the time that he was putting together his story. The hair in the Dybbuk box, that's my hair, Christensen confesses. So, I mean, it's all, like the whole backstory about what was all in the Dybbuk box was fake.
I've never heard this.
Yeah, I didn't either until I read this article. Not everything about Manus' story was fake, however. He says, I did give the box to my mom on Halloween. She did have a stroke. And then I asked him, but what about the interview she did on Paranormal Witness? And he said, well, that was an outstanding bit of motherly support and an Oscar-winning performance. So then...
You mean we can't believe everything we see on Paranormal Witness?
No. So then the writer of this article calls Zach Bagans to tell him about this.
Oh, boy.
And apparently...
I wonder how much he paid for that Dybbuk box.
The author of the article says that he was privy to some of the messages, but there were a whole lot of messages, nasty messages going back and forth between Manus and Zach Bagans. So Manus messages me via Facebook to say he just gotten a call from Zach Bagans. Not good, he says. Not happy. And you won't believe the stuff happening around me. Seriously, now it's like I am getting bombarded with a curse. He then lists the events that had happened last week, including his car breaking down, his girlfriend leaving him, his mom dying, and two of his friends passing away. So later, the author of the article hears from Bagans via email, and Zach says, quote, since owning the Dybbuk box, there have been countless documented experiences people have had with it. Not just for myself, but my museum staff, my fellow crew members, visitors, and Post Malone.
Do you think it's like a tulpa?
He also... It's possible. I mean, that's where he's kind of going with this. He also claims that multiple guests have been severely affected in the Dybbuk room in his museum, some of them having to be escorted out on a stretcher by EMT personnel. I don't believe this to be the full truth, he writes in response to what Manus told me about making the story up. He cites some of the things that have befallen Manus in the past week, which Manus also shared with Zach. Zach says, I think there is much more to the Dybbuk box, regardless of its origins, and it is very much cursed and evil. I'm not surprised that more controversy and conflict keep arising from it. The Dybbuk box has always raised questions and intrigue, and this just adds to its narrative. For those who've always doubted Manus' story, this article is their confirmation that it was faked. For those who believe in the Dybbuk box, Manus' admission won't have much effect on them at all. The Dybbuk box has been the focus of books, a major motion picture, and TV shows, Zach writes in the conclusion of his email. There is much more to this powerful cursed item. Its story is still being told.
So, also something to keep in mind, I've heard it is not cheap to go through his museum.
No, I heard that too.
And
I
so
think we have some listeners that actually went to his museum.
Maybe. And people who are willing to pay money to go see that stuff, they are believers. And
Yeah,
they are
100%.
going in wanting an experience.
Yeah, so
they're hyping themselves up, probably freaking themselves. I'm not saying Zach doesn't have haunted stuff in his museum. I'm sure he does. But just the fact that people, yes, your mic is on, Kurt.
Okay.
Just the fact that people have experiences with the Dybbuk box, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you tell somebody someplace is haunted, they're going to hear stuff there,
Right.
whether they think they
But
are or
also
not.
maybe it's a tulpa, and like how many years now have people spent building up that this thing is haunted? Maybe now it is haunted.
But I guess Zach was doing some PR work there at the end when he found out that the guy that sold him the Dybbuk box lied about it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I just thought that was
again,
interesting because
people pay
I never
good money to see
I never
this
knew
thing.
that. I was looking up updates for some of these stories, and I saw that, and I'm like, I wonder if there's any updates for the Dybbuk box.
Well, the guy, too, that came up with it, he put some time and effort into it.
But that's basically what people say John Teeter was. That's what they admitted John Teeter was a new version of Horror Story or an online story. So he obviously did put work into it. But when you have his friend saying, yeah, that's my hair in there, so it's obviously that wasn't anything, So there you go. Season 2, episode 7 was about HARP. I didn't really look up any updates about HARP.
I didn't either.
The one that people say controls the weather.
Because they warm it up a little. It's pretty cold here today.
Yeah, it is pretty cold.
And windy. Whoa.
Season 2, episode 8 was the Lake Michigan Triangle. Rhonda was on for that episode. And
I distinctly remember a review we got for that one where Rhonda and I were two giggly girls and you were like a total frat boy.
Oh, that's where I was the frat guy. Yeah. I forgot that was that episode.
Sorry, Rhonda and I laugh a lot.
You're the epitome of a frat boy.
I am.
Yes,
I'm totally.
100%.
You know me. I'm wild and crazy and off the chain.
This actually gets worse
As it gets warmer.
as it sits and the carbonation
Oh, the bottom
dies
of when I
down.
drank the bottom of the thing, it was like really salty, and not like a good sea
But
salt.
I'm thirsty,
caramel
so I
thing.
keep reaching for it, and then I make
Yep.
this face like I don't want to drink that.
Season 2, episode 9, Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov Pass. Yeah, because didn't somebody say I was always saying it wrong?
Well,
Or
no,
he always said I was saying it
Gates.
wrong.
Josh Gates did a whole episode on
Yep.
it, and he kept pronouncing it that when I was like,
Yep.
"Wow, we're saying it wrong."
Do you have anything, Kory?
I do. Just that there were some more expeditions
Yeah.
that were pretty scientific,
Yep.
and they came up with some pretty good tests that
Do you have-
basically confirm it was an avalanche.
Yep. It's in a 2021 study, someone named Puzrin and Gaume argued that
Sure.
a slab avalanche could provide an answer to the mystery, and people didn't think it was possible for there to be an avalanche there.
Yeah.
But they recorded an avalanche happening there.
So like a slab avalanche, they're peculiar. I'm having an issue with you.
Peculiar.
Peculiar.
You're having a Kurt issue there.
Because the top layer of snow is bonded together in a slab which sits on top of a weaker layer. So you have like your ground, then you may have like a layer of ice/frost.
Yep.
Then you have a soft layer of like powdery snow. Then on top of that is when you would have your like really deep,
Heavy wet
snow.
snow.
Yeah, it's like a bad. I mean,
Yeah.
not that
And I
any
suppose
avalanches.
that powdery snow makes it
not that
possible
any
to
avalanches
move.
are great, but
Right.
this is like the worst case scenario of an
Yep.
avalanche.
And it's best if they stretch across a sufficiently large area on a slope with an angle greater of 30 degrees in order to form.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things in the diagram that they showed was when they put the tent up, they cut out a section. They went like a straight 90-degree section and then a 90-degree section the other way to make like a cutout, like a V.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it would have easily made that slab come
Yep.
across or come out more.
That's what I have here in this
Oh,
article. It says the
interesting.
researchers believe that the pitching of the tent might have set off a fatal chain of events that eventually led to a slab falling on the sleeping hikers, causing severe trauma in some of them and prompting the rest to run into the night without proper gear, where they ultimately succumb to the cold.
Yep.
Which I could get, you know. And they said that, they said that it would like even out quick, so you wouldn't really see that there was an avalanche. So I don't know. I kind
Weren't
of
there
buy.
still some weird things about it, like someone was missing a tongue?
Yeah, but that
that's
could have
like
been predators.
animal-
That could have been animals.
Someone could have bit their tongue.
that too.
Like I don't know. I just think of the trauma
Yeah.
of like
Yep.
physical trauma.
Yeah,
see how you
there
could-
was the picture of the supposed Bigfoot that was really just one of the
Yeah.
campers. So there's a lot of, but I kind of buy
I think
this.
people tried to find weird stuff in the
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever saw the video. I see it on, I don't know if it's Instagram once in a while. It's of a guy up in a mountain taking video, and then he sees an avalanche happen, and you can see the avalanche come down.
Yeah.
And it's so far away. You're like, the recorder or the guy doing the video must be like, there's no way it's ever going to get to me. And then you see it get closer and
Oh,
I've
closer
seen that.
freaky.
and
Yeah.
closer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, maybe he's high enough up. It's not. And then all of a sudden you see like right at the base of his feet.
Yep.
And you can hear him make noise like, oh shit.
yeah.
Then all of a sudden it just comes at him.
Did
and
he survive it?
Yeah.
Oh
He
my gosh.
Dives down behind like a rock, and you can just see the last couple seconds where snow and ice and stuff are just going on top of him and over him. But it's like the same thing. Like if you were in that tent and that avalanche lets loose,
You're done.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know.
Well, especially if it's dark out.
Yeah.
You can't
You don't.
see
Yeah. You
what's
don't know what it
happening or
is.
what's
You just hear this
coming.
rumbling coming at you.
yeah, and then they
So-
go out and they get,
I kinda buy it.
disoriented. And
Yep. Yeah, they say the researchers say it's no wonder that the Dyatlov rescue team could not find any signs of an avalanche 3 weeks after the incident. This also explains why no avalanches have been observed there before. In such severe weather conditions, the pass cannot be easily accessed by hikers, while traces of smaller slab avalanches generally disappear within a few hours. So I totally buy that.
Yeah, I do too.
Season 2, episode 10 was our EVP episode. People love the EVP episode.
I love the EVP
Yep,
episode.
that was our first EVP episode.
It's like reliving an investigation.
Yep. Season 2, episode 11 was Men in Black. I don't remember much about that one. Season
No.
2, episode 12 was a big one for me. That was, My favorite mini mystery, that was Paulding Lights and the Solway Firth Spaceman. That's the one where
That's a cool one.
That's the one. That to me was the first episode that I listened to when I was editing, and I was like, dang, like this is a solid episode. That was the first episode where I was like, ooh, this is good.
Like,
So,
hey, we might actually know
like we
what
might
we're
actually
doing.
be okay.
Like
we might actually last
30
6
episodes
seasons
in, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is the best one.
Yeah, we might actually last 6 seasons. But that was a big episode for me because I distinctly remember being impressed with that episode. I'm like, all right, we might be onto something here. Season 2, and we're going to be seeing the Paulding Lights.
Yeah.
Apparently, if I can stay awake.
I mean, hopefully.
Yep.
I don't think they happen religiously every night.
I think they
I
do.
could be wrong.
Season 2, episode 13 was a special one because our good friends Sophie and Adam were here for the Ouija boards and Zozo episode.
Hazozo.
So that was a big one. That one was fun. It was so nice,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I'd only seen Sophie once before when I went to see her back in the day.
It was a fun dynamic.
And it was so nice meeting Adam, who was just amazing.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe we'll meet them again in the future.
Maybe.
But it was just so awesome. I mean, I loved the Ouija board episode. Her Ouija board stories were that some of the students have listened to that one. They're like, that's creepy. Season 2, episode 14. I don't know what this one is
That
about.
one's, I'm sure that one's been poo-pooed too.
Yeah, we should take that one out of the rotation. Bigfoot?
Oh, stop. Willie does not want to hear
No,
that.
Willie does not want to hear that. Bigfoot Willie on Chris's
My
microphone.
little Sasquatch.
What can we say about Bigfoot that haven't been fake? Doesn't exist. If it does, it comes through a portal. That is Bigfoot. We could have a whole episode about Bigfoot stories. We really could, because I follow the Bigfoot subreddit.
You do?
I do.
I'm impressed.
I'm softening up to the Bigfoot thing, but
I've been watching a lot of, I think it's Small Town Monsters? Monsters Among Us? Shoot, I can't remember now. They put out a lot of Bigfoot content, like documentaries and stuff.
the other because I only get one channel at home because I don't have cable. I have the antenna. I get one, and Sunday mornings they have like a stand-up comedy show. And last Sunday morning I was working on my research, and the guy on there was actually talking about Bigfoot. And it was funny because he's talking about the video that everybody knows, and they said that he's walking and he kind of looks back like he stepped in moose poop or something, like he's all mad. It was actually really funny. But yeah, we could talk about Bigfoot, especially Krista, until she's blue in the face.
I could.
We need to do a little Bigfoot hunting on our trip too, I think.
I think that would be fun.
Because we're going to be up in that area where there have been sightings of Bigfoot, so maybe we'll have to visit some of that. Season 2, episode 15, Listener Stories Part 2. We did have one every season. For some reason, I didn't think we did, but we did have a Listener Stories
I didn't
every
realize
season.
it started in season 1.
I didn't either until I did this. Season 2, episode 16, Black Eyed Kids.
Oh, yes.
Which is awesome and scary, but I think kind of like a
Urban legend.
urban legend. But still, you got to love the BEKs. Season 2, episode 17 is one that I really wanted.
I thought there would be updates.
I thought there'd be updates too, but there weren't. That was the Yuba 5. The ones that went missing
Yep.
and
In the
ended up
car
in
in
the
the
cabin.
forest.
Yeah. And I really thought that there would be updates, but there's
Yeah.
not. And that was one that I was kind of sad about because I really wanted updates. Where the one guy was in the cabin and there was all the
enough
food.
that could have lasted for a while. And
But then, I was reading stuff about it, and somebody said these were kind of like special needs people, and it
Yeah.
could have got pounded into his head that do not
Stealing.
take something that's not yours. So it sucks that there was this food available for him, and he ended up starving to death or freezing, and that was just a sad one all around.
Yep.
Season 2, episode 18, another mini mystery, The Solder Children and the Fresno Nightcrawler.
I think I saw somewhere that the Solder Children thing is having a multi-episodic history channel, or
It could be. I mean, it's a fascinating
Yeah.
case.
I don't know if it was Discovery or History or one of those channels. I saw a blip during a commercial saying that there was in starting February 15th or whatever of 2023, there's a 7-part, show on it.
I'll have to look for that because I don't have to talk about that on or put that on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Nothing, Krista? Nothing for Solder Children?
No.
Season 2, episode 19, Moon Mysteries. Kory's stomach growling.
Burrito.
Season 2, episode 20. That was our first kind of strange states. That was Ohio cryptids. Because one of our listeners, didn't we run a contest where they could pick a topic for us to do and we would do it? And he wanted Ohio cryptids. That was like our first strange states. And that was our season finale. And there was a Christmas. I don't know why we don't do Christmas episodes.
I know. We should have stuck with
There was a
that.
Christmas special. That was the 21st episode of season 2. Season 3, episode 1 aired January 22nd. It is always at the end of January, I guess, when we do that. January 22nd, 2019. That was picked by listeners. That was the Denver airport.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Still
good one.
fascinating.
Do you see that they're like going full bore into the
sign,
signs that are put up saying like don't like mind our mess, the reptilian whatever are on break.
Like please be quiet, the reptilians are sleeping below. Like
man,
they're totally
into it. Why not?
Why not? I really want to see the Denver airport. I do, just because of the lore behind it and even because of our episode and the stuff on there. Season 3, episode 2, Georgia Guidestones. Nothing new there.
Nope, nothing happened there.
Been happening there.
On July 6, 2022, an explosive device exploded at the site, destroying the Swahili/Hindi language slab and causing significant damage to the capstone. Nearby residents reportedly heard and felt explosions around 4 o'clock a.m., and CCTV footage recorded a vehicle leaving the scene, and police investigated the accident. The remaining stones were taken down by authorities for safety reasons later in the day with a backhoe. They still don't really know who did it.
Well, it wasn't. Somebody was probably egged on by one of the senator, governor, somebody was in elected office that hated him. Yeah. And like she had some followers that they think probably was one of the knuckleheads that went and did that.
And again, I'll get to my viewpoint on that. But it says in late July 2022, Elberton Mayor Daniel Graves said the town planned to rebuild the monument exactly as it was, adding, quote, "We're just getting geared up and excited about rebuilding it. It's going to happen. It may take us 6 months to a year to do it, but we're going to do it." On August 8th, 2022, the city council voted to begin legal proceedings to return the 5 acres of land the monument had been built on to its previous owner, a local farmer. The city council announced that the remains of the monument, which had been moved to a third-party location for safety reasons, would be given back to the Granite Association of Elberton. Both the Elberton Granite Association and the city council expressed doubt that the Guidestones would ever be rebuilt, but expressed hope that one day it could happen. And again, it was somebody thinking it was like a New World Order, Illuminati thing, when I think that they were just there in... Somebody believed that if there ever was a nuclear war or some kind of apocalypse, that this would serve as a starting block for a new society. There was nothing evil about it.
Yeah.
I know people are going to hate me for saying that, but there was nothing evil about it. Season 3, Episode 3, my personal favorite.
Again, nothing there.
My personal favorite, the Bet's Sphere.
Never heard of it.
I love the Bet's Sphere. That's been
what
said.
Were you saying in our
I want to sleep with it.
version?
I want to sleep with the Bet's Sphere, and not in a sketchy way, in a way that I wanted. I love that little ball. I do. I love that it rolls around.
You want to spoon the ball?
I want to. I would totally spoon the ball. Probably the only person in history to ever say that phrase. But I love the Bet's Sphere. I really badly wanted an update. I wanted the podcast to continue, where at the end of the last season of that podcast, that the reporter actually got in touch with Jerry, the one who was the mom that was there when they found the ball, but they never followed up on it. So I want to know if they're able to talk to Jerry to find out what happened. But I love the Bet's Sphere. I know I say that. I should get a T-shirt that says I love the Bet's Sphere, because I say it all the time. But sadly, no updates for that. Season 3, Episode 4, another my favorite mini mystery. That was the lead mask case and the suicide dogs.
Oh, yeah. I did
lead
the
mask
suicide
case,
dog.
I still think is so weird and fascinating.
Yeah, I thought maybe there'd be some kind of update where somebody would go back and try to figure something out, but no, there's nothing. Season
3, Episode 5, Possession and Exorcism.
Fun.
That's
a light topic.
That was a heavy topic. It was a good one, though. I remember liking that one. That one was a pretty good one. Now getting to one of my personal favorites.
Heavy topic.
Now, another heavy topic. Season 3, Episode 6, Internet Mysteries, Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pie.
Coochie's Key Lime Pie.
And Karen Waldengrave, which is one that I'm still fascinated with.
What's that Facebook?
Yeah, where she was like posting like so much that it shouldn't have been able to almost have been done by a person, that she would comment on her own comments and then comment on her own comments. And it was always a question as if is she a real person? But it turns out that she kind of was. And, you know, she had the weird pictures that you could see were burnt. So it was just like a weird.
Yeah, it was a weird. It was a little bit of a head scratcher.
I was all about Captain Coochie and his key lime pies. Anita Perez, the Goody Burgers. I actually went to see, but that one is kind of cool because when we talked about that, there was not a ton online about Captain Coochie's. But now if you type in Captain Coochie's key lime pies, there's a lot of YouTubers that that do mysteries and stuff, and that it's all over the place now is the Captain Coochie's key lime pie stories. And ultimately I think people thought that it was Captain Coochie getting older and just wanted to keep it going. But if you type in like a phrase like Goody Goody Burgers or I love Captain Coochie's, like you'll find the old comments from 2012 and some random website. Somebody will comment and it'll be one of those long rambling comments about Captain Coochie's key lime pies.
I'm sure one of the millions of listeners of this podcast
There's
also thought that I'm going to run this one and you guys just started it. That's all.
Which one?
Captain Coochie's.
Captain Coochie? I'm going to say that it was all us.
Yeah,
we started it.
There's got to be a Captain Coochie's key lime pie T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
I might maybe get me that for Christmas if you can find one.
Can you look it up?
I'll look it up after.
I can continue on for a little bit. Look it up.
Okay.
All right. So season 3, episode 7 was alien abduction. I don't think much has gone on in the way of alien abduction.
No.
I mean,
Yeah, they stopped.
personally.
They stopped. Yeah, they heard that
They don't
episode. They
happen
totally
anymore.
stopped. They're like, oh God.
they're on to us.
They're like, oh God, Strange Sessions is on to
Yep.
us.
Season 3, episode 8 was haunted forests. I know that one kind of
We
ties
talked
in.
about the one in Japan,
Yeah,
right?
like the Suicide Forest.
Forest.
Was that Post Malone that got some YouTuber that showed a body hanging in a tree?
Jake Paul, one of the Paul brothers.
Oh, it might have been one of the.
Was
Paul
that the
brothers.
Rendlesham? What is it?
No, we get to the Rendlesham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was the hanging forest in Japan or whatever, and some other
Suicide
stuff.
Forest, yeah. Okay.
Jake Paul. What's the other one? Logan Paul. It was one of those.
Logan Paul. It might have been Logan.
One
Paul.
of those knuckleheads. Season 3, episode 9. Another my favorite mini mystery was Beverly Potts and your Elsa Gate.
Ooh, that was a
That's a.
that was a dark
Sketchy
episode.
topic, yeah.
That was a dark episode.
I don't think I saw any updates on that. Just other people.
No, but there's still
commenting about
stuff.
it.
There,
Oh, yeah,
I still follow the Elsa Gate subreddit, and there's constantly people posting like sketchy pictures that they get on YouTube videos of these weird cartoons that should not be for kids.
Season 3, episode 10 was reincarnation.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I think their next one was kind of a big one. That's where a lot of people I kind of think found us too.
Yeah, season 3, episode 11, the Lisanne Froon and Chris Kremers, the people missing in Panama, the hikers.
Do you know that on our YouTube page, that one has over 5,000 views?
I think it's
That
a real
one.
popular story. And
Yeah.
the only update I have for it is one of the things that's been all the rage because of the podcast you talked about
Kristen
earlier.
Smart?
Kristen Smart and the...
If you're into true crime, listen
It's a good
to
one.
Your Own Backyard, the Kristen Smart, because it's interesting that the podcast becomes part of the story itself.
the Saeed...
Yeah.
Adnan Saeed.
Adnan Saeed from Serial.
Yep.
With podcasts being all the rage, there's a new one, and I haven't listened to an episode. It's called Lost in Panama. Apparently, it's supposed to be kind of like that, where they're really trying to go deep and trying to find the girls and the whole story and find out what happened.
So the whole podcast is about that.
Just about
story?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's 5 episodes in, and I should have listened to one last night, but I didn't have a chance. I got
What
tired.
is it called? Lost in Panama?
Lost in Panama. It's supposed to be
Is
one
it
of those
good?
deep dive, like,
Is it pretty good?
I don't know.
Oh,
I haven't listened to it, but people did say that it's going to be one of those podcasts that's probably going to unlock some information. So,
that would be good. That would be
yeah.
nice because
We should check that out.
I think we got a couple.
I'm going to add it.
I think we
while
might have
we're-
got a couple nasty messages from people that.
There was one guy, he was like he wasn't a stranger, but he came to our regular stranger page.
Yes,
And
that's
was like just ripping people apart in the comments, and nobody said anything or
No.
did anything. We're like, okay,
Nope.
hopefully he'll just go away.
Yeah.
But it's like it's okay if people
Yep.
have opinions that are different than yours, dude.
So the first episode of Lost in Panama was from October 31st, and the latest one was a bonus after show that came out Monday. So it's the first season, I think, is almost wrapping up. It looks like it's 6 out of 7 episodes.
I'm adding it
So
to my
I did.
podcast list.
It's not that good. I mean,
It looks like somebody just
like
That looks
picture
like
and-
that looks like
Yeah.
our t-shirts. If I'm being not the
well, except
not
they're awesome,
these.
except for that
Yeah,
one. But
no.
I want somebody to make a retro-looking Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pies T-shirt. I'm gonna have to listen to that podcast.
Oh, this is interesting because so like 1 of 7, it's Mariana and Jeremy arrive and retrace their steps. So they
Yeah.
actually travel.
Yes. Yep.
So this is like a total.
Yeah, it was just a review on a subreddit of the Lost in Panama, and they said it's really good, and it's like a on the boots investigation when they're, like you said, retracing the steps.
Mm-hmm. It's 7 episodes long.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the only update for that one.
I think that was a pretty solid episode of ours, so I'm glad that got a lot of listens.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I was really shocked that just on YouTube we had that many listens.
Yeah. Kory, keep going. You're doing good.
Episode 3 or season 3, episode 12, Strange States, Missouri.
Yeah, that was one of our first official Strange States.
States.
And I think, did we do that because of
Missouri?
Dash?
I can't
Yep.
remember.
I think Dash asked us to do that.
Dash, who's from my tiny little village up
Yep.
north. Weird coincidence.
Do you remember what was significant about 313?
I do.
313 was our 50th episode listener stories. Do you remember what was
it though?
No, because it was actually our 49th episode.
Okay.
It wasn't our 50th because I miscounted when I was
Yep.
counting the episodes. But that was like a big listener stories one.
Okay.
Kory, keep going.
Season 3, episode 14, the Bridgewater Triangle.
Jamie was here for us with that one too.
Because that's his neck of the woods.
Yep.
Season 3, episode 15, Missing 411 Revisited Yet Again.
We just keep coming
Everybody
back
just
for
likes
more.
those Missing 4. I mean, they're stories and they're interesting to listen to, and then people can have ideas on what happened and what didn't happen.
What's interesting though is that now that we're doing the individual stories, look more into them. They're almost all ending that it's not really mysterious. It's a missing person.
Season 3, episode 16, another of my favorite mini mystery of Walter Collins and the Amityville House.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3, episode 17 was
this is an interesting subreddit if you have time to kill, and
this was the gang stalking.
Episode.
Yeah. Freaky.
It's weird.
That
Like if you
freaks
go
me
to that
out.
subreddit, you just feel for some of those people that, and then you have people coming on trying to rationalize it and being like, no, they weren't. It wasn't street theater. It was just random people. And then they're like, oh, you sound like a perp too. So it's like, ugh.
Paranoia.
Yep.
Season 3, episode 18 was D.B. Cooper. There is some update in that. I mean, just that another suspect was basically announced that they're doing some investigations. Do you have the same guy I have?
Is it? Hang on.
I have a Vince Peterson.
As do I, and it's
I have nothing because I didn't do notes.
and it's because
Josh
of it.
Gates did some pretty good stuff on DB Cooper too. What's crazy is that some of the money has actually been found, right?
I think so.
A little kid found
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
a beach.
on a beach, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to read what I got, or do you want to read what you
I'll
got?
just do what I have and
Okay.
see if you have. Basically, this Vince Peterson died about 20 years ago. One of the things about him is why people think he's D.B. Cooper. They connected a necktie that was found of D.B. Cooper's. It had some rare metal found on it.
Oh, yes. Having to do with TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a black necktie. Recently, a paleontologist was allowed to test it, and they found titanium particles on it. And the only place that used titanium at that time was a lab called Rem Crew Titanium. And Peterson actually worked there in the 1960s. So D.B. Cooper had some of these particles on his tie, and this guy worked there. No other place in the world could have picked up these particles outside of the company where they were experimented with. They were a major supplier of specialty metal to Boeing for both their military and commercial aircraft, including the 727. That was D.B. Cooper's hijacked plane. So it could have gave him some familiarity with that plane. The titanium research lab consisted of 8 men, a very small universe of engineers who worked in that research lab. And the men in that research lab did wear ties. They have photographs of the men wearing black ties. And the supervisor that they talked to says that the guy you're talking about sounds like a guy that used to work here named Vince Peterson. He was 52 in 1971, and the witnesses described Cooper as being generally in the mid-40s to about 50. Basically, the main flight attendants were the witnesses. Mr. Peterson's height was approximately 6'1". They described D.B. Cooper as being about 6 foot, 6'1". His weight was normal. Same thing with Mr. Peterson. And he was in good shape and it was fit, along with D.B. Cooper's description. And they got permission to the owner of the house where Peterson lived to do some more investigating. And that was going to be happening later this month. So that's what I have, Kurt.
Yep, that's what I got. Same thing, everything that you have.
All right.
What we got next?
Season 3, Episode 19, The Phoenix Lights. Going back to D.B. Cooper real quick, like, it's one of those things that I don't think we'll ever...
We'll
Not
know one way
Even
or
if they
another.
come out and say, we think it's this guy, you're always going to have people that...
That's like the
assume
Zodiac.
it's their
Like
uncle or-
everybody's coming out at, well, my uncle was the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
And I just don't think you're ever going to know with 100% certainty.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Episode 19 was The Phoenix Lights. I don't think there was
My
much
one
new.
favorite thing I remember from that, and that's just one of those weird little facts, is that one of the first pilots to report it was Kurt Russell. That's one of those weird
yeah.
facts that I remember from that one.
And I have a coworker who saw them because he was living there.
Oh,
at the
that's what
time.
I'm jealous of. Now everybody's seeing the SpaceX or the...
Oh,
Yeah.
Episode 20 for Season 3 was Horror Movie Curses.
Kory was with us for episode 21. That was a good episode. Episode 21, that was Ben McDaniel.
Yep.
That was the diver. And my part was the Watcher.
Yeah.
And the
Watcher.
Watcher just was a big...
Well, it's a Netflix series.
Netflix
I
series.
think it got renewed for a second season, which I'm like, I don't know
But
what
people
they're
said
going to
it's
do
like
with that.
so not exactly...
They took a lot of liberties.
Took a lot of liberties.
But how would you not? All we
Yeah.
know is the letters. There's not really any back. We don't have any details other than the letters and like
Yeah.
what the family dealt with. So they had to create a whole story around
Yeah.
it. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
I thought there would be a lot more with Ben McDaniel, like updates, but basically, like we talked about on the drive down, it's just basically every other cave kind of like that. You would have found a body.
Yeah, because people did die in that cave that he died in,
Yeah.
and they've always found the body. It's just they never found his. And I was reading somebody saying that it's obvious that he was killed and then his body was taken somewhere, that he never really did dive, or he came back from diving. But that was a good episode.
It's just I
Ben
keep
McDaniel stuff.
because since you brought it up, I keep reliving the description of like going through those
Having to
caves.
go through that one cave where you have to turn your head a certain way, otherwise
you
your
have
head's
to-
going to get stuck while you're
Take
diving.
your air tank off, push it ahead of you, and then you
with
have
your
to
head
turn
turned
your
a certain
hand-
way,
yeah.
because
That is the stuff nightmares are made
That's
of.
I told Kory. I said I would literally rather die than go through that cave.
Yes.
100%.
Because
I might die if I go through that.
Your
cave.
shoulders are so cramped that you actually just had to use your feet, your tip of your feet,
I get
your
a panic
toes
attack. I get a panic attack just
to
thinking of that.
push yourself through
Yep.
it.
It's horrifying. The fact that people voluntarily put themselves in those positions is
Well, like even in a normal cave, like
Yeah.
above ground cave, having to do that would be a little sketchy. But
Totally.
you're doing it down there where
Yeah.
if something happens to your air supply, you're done.
you're done.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, no way.
You.
Or you get stuck and you're alone. You're done.
The Watcher stuff, there's really no updates. I was reading some comments from a neighbor.
They
that's
recently
convinced,
sold the house.
Yeah, a neighbor is convinced that that they wrote the letters themselves. That it was a scam to
Why,
because they
though?
wanted the property to divide the property, to put two places up and sell it for twice
Well,
what
it
they got it for.
backfired because
And
they
that
sold
this
it
was
at
a way
a
that
huge loss.
Yeah. So, but there's a neighbor that is convinced that some people say they have the person's DNA because of the letters that
It's a female.
And some people are blaming the police for either being in on it or not doing enough work for it. But
Well, the only thing good was that because the Netflix show may spurn some interest in it,
yeah,
so maybe
Yep.
some more people will do some research on
Yep.
it and find out. Season 3, Episode 22 was story updates.
Much like this
yep.
episode.
And that was a season finale, much like this episode.
Yeah.
And there was a Christmas.
there was
Did we
a
do
rumored-
Christmas episodes? There was a Christmas episode about Rendlesham
Whether
Forest.
you guys did it or
Oh,
not.
that
who
was the
knows?
Christmas episode. Okay, Rendlesham.
Yep. Season 4, episode 1, Strange Phone Calls.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Kory, you'll do every other one.
All right, Episode 2, another my favorite mini mystery was the Kernack family murders and the number stations.
That was the one I had the personal connection to.
Yes. Yeah.
Not the number stations.
Are you down here with a shortwave radio?
yeah.
7, 5.
Still
7.
like watching that number station movie when it comes on. It's so good. I think it's got John Cusack in it.
There's Reddit.
Oh, that's
there's
such a good movie.
I've never seen that.
I've
but there's a
never seen it
subreddit
either.
where people go and post their number stations they record, and sometimes I listen to them because I'm just fascinated by them. We know that they're spy. It's a spy station. Season 4, episode 3 was one of my favorites. That was Subliminal Messages. That's the one where we had people that were so loud in the school next to us that I was getting really annoyed.
Yes, it was a room full of kids.
Yep.
I mean, we read about that stuff since we were kids.
Yeah, like I'm still fascinated. I was watching YouTube videos about subliminal messages last night. I'm fascinated with subliminal advertising, especially.
Season 4, Episode 4 was Strange States, Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama. Season 4, Episode 5 was Stranger Suggestions, and I believe that was the Tate House, the soup one, where there was just the person in the room.
So weird.
Yeah.
That was like a YouTube thing,
Yeah,
right?
where this person was eating soup and crying, and these two figures with masks or these costumes came in.
At them.
Yeah, so that was a weird
Creepy.
one. Creepy is right. Are you 6 or am I 6?
Oh, that'd be me. Episode 6 was Current State of Affairs.
Why did we do Current State of Affairs?
I have no idea.
Do you remember?
Was it COVID?
That was when COVID just started and lockdowns just started, and we were like, we didn't know what to do. I think because we weren't going to get together. Mm-hmm. So the next couple episodes are Skype. Yeah, the next couple, like the next 3 or 4 episodes are Skype episodes. Episode 7, the one after that was Skype. That was Tara Calico.
We did that via Skype?
Yes, that was the girl
in the van.
With the Polaroid of the kid and the girl like taped up in the van.
With a book?
What book
was it?
My Sweet Audrina.
Okay.
Yeah, Tara Calico, when I follow like anything about it pretty religiously because I'm really fascinated by that one. I wish there'd be updates for it, but there's really not.
Yeah. Season 4, Episode 8 was Underwater Submersible
like USOs.
Yeah, USOs and Shag Harper. I was trying to figure out what it was standing for real quick. What was the acronym for?
Yeah. Episode 9 of Season 4 is one of my all-time favorites. That was David Glenn Lewis. Like, I love that. The guy that went missing in Texas and then ended up...
Thanksgiving? Was it Christmas? It was a holiday, right?
Thanksgiving, maybe?
Thanksgiving.
Because the Super Bowl was on.
Oh, then it can't be.
So it was the Super Bowl. And then
January.
He left the VCR was taping it.
So it was not a holiday.
Then they found him dead in Washington State.
Yes, very
wearing
strange.
stuff that he wouldn't wear.
That was a great story.
Yeah, that was. So I love that. That was episode 9 of season 4.
Episode 10 was Haunted Paintings.
That was a good one.
That was.
I still always love this painting.
Yes, The Hands Resist
Oh yeah,
that's the one that was supposedly cursed, and then you had it as your background picture at work on your computer.
Well, I didn't hear about anything happening at the nuclear power plant, so.
Nope.
No, I think 411. I think episode 11. I think we were back in person, Montauk, or were we still virtual? Or were we still doing?
I
it
feel
over
like
Skype?
we were at the school for the Montauk.
Okay, I think we got back together finally for the Montauk experiment. That was the weird one. That one's still an interesting one. That was like kind of the background story for Stranger Things, was the Montauk experiments and stuff.
Season 4, Episode 12 would have been another mini mystery of the Doomsday Cult and spontaneous human combustion.
People liked my Doomsday Cult.
Krista's Doomsday Cult. Season 4, Episode 13. We still talk about them all the time. One of my favorite topics, synchronicities.
Synchronicities.
I love synchronicities.
Did you have any recently?
No.
No.
And I'm getting super annoyed about it.
I'm seeing 11:11 still.
I wish I was. Apparently mine went off to everybody else.
One day I saw it in the morning and at night.
That's weird. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time.
I woke up at exactly 11:11.
If I see 11:11 at night, I'm usually getting up to pee.
I think that's what was happening.
Oh.
And it was 11:11 and I couldn't fall back asleep.
That's so weird that you're getting them now and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 14 from Season 4 was the 1980 Satanic Panic.
Yeah. And now I feel like that one would have been more of a side sessions because that wasn't really a strange one. I think now we would have done that, but I still love the 80s Satanic Panic, and Dungeons & Dragons is bad. Season 4, Episode 15, Listener Stories. There's our season Listener Stories.
Episode 16 for Season 4 was the Loch Ness Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Nessie.
Season 4, Episode 17 was Strange States, Idaho, with that picnic table out in the middle of nowhere.
The loneliest picnic
table.
Episode 18 for Season 4 was another mini mystery with the Tallman Haunting and Mel's Hole.
Yep. Kory took a deep dive into Mel's Hole on that one.
I think you mentioned it with the TV show that's kind of like Yellowstone.
No, I mentioned that. There's
like just a whole
Outer Range.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, that was the only update, was that it's kind of inspired by or whatever.
Yeah, where the farmer had.
Really?
Out in the farmer's field, they find that hole that just appears. And
so is that the one with what's his name?
Josh Brolin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched it.
It was good. Like I love the scene where.
Is that on Prime?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I love the scene where you find out what's on the other side of the hole because it's just weird. I had a huge crush on the girl in there too, Imogen Pets.
If I had $1.
Imogen Pets. Yeah. Episode 19, Season 4, Kory's stomach is
Sky
growling.
sounds.
It's Sky Sounds. Kory's stomach sounds.
Is Jim on that episode?
Yes, Jim came down for the Sky Sounds
We were still at
episode,
the school. I remember that.
Episode 20 was electronic surveillance.
which we could have a whole nother episode about because
Yeah.
now there's like, I'm finding all sorts of, it's freaky how much we are
Surveilled.
surveilled. Yeah, where we are, who we're talking to, what we're talking about.
Right now, people are probably listening to
Oh, yeah,
us.
100%. It freaks me out.
Not as in they're listening to our podcast.
No, the
like right
phones
now
are
in our
listening to us.
basement.
Yep.
Yes.
Season 4, Episode 21, Halloween. That was a fun one when you learned about the turnips, that they originally carved turnips and
Turnips.
they burnt them and blew the smoke through keyholes in the doors. 422, Halloween, that might have been our first episode down here.
Was it?
Because the next one I know for a fact we did down here.
And that would be episode 22, remote viewing.
Remote viewing we did down, that remote viewing might have been our first episode down here.
I think so because I remember, didn't we kind of wear costumes-ish for the Halloween episode?
Yes.
You wore like a cape that I brought.
That was at the
Yes,
school.
I
That was
think
our
that was our last
So the Halloween
episode.
episode was our last episode at the old school, and remote viewing was our first episode here. Episode 23 from season 4 was a My Favorite Mini Mystery. It was Deja Vu and the Toy and Be Tiles.
Toy and Be Tiles.
Toy and Be Tiles, which became our awesome shirts from Beth.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Beth.
I did look to see if there were updates, and it was just basically more people like trying to figure out
Who did it?
who did it.
Yeah.
And like it's still in the news cycle of updates where some of these stories aren't as much.
Yeah, but Toy
But
and
it's
Be
still
Tiles.
it's still people investigating, and like even as of a week ago there were news articles, and so interesting that it's still
Yeah, it is.
in the zeitgeist. Episode 24 for season 4 was even more missing 411.
And the season finale. That was the season.
Oh,
and
was
there
it?
was
Okay.
there was also a Christmas episode that supposedly showed up. Christmas chat.
I don't believe it
It was
was
Christmas
Christmas-
chat where we
Christmas
just
chat.
talked.
Probably talked about our favorite Christmas memories.
Probably.
Christmas music.
Then we start season 5, episode 1. Welcome to season 5.
Yeah, that was a season warm-up where we just talked about some stuff. And
Okay.
that was January 31st, 2021.
Wow.
Yep. Our second episode of the season 5, episode 2, was Near-Death Experiences, which was voted on by people for our first topic.
Episode 3 was another mini mystery with Dudley Town and the Coral Castle.
Yeah,
Coral
I still love
Castle.
Coral Castle. I think
And
that's...
somebody went there and took photos.
Yeah, one of our strangers. They're still in our... Was it Josh? I don't remember who it was,
I
but
don't
they
remember
put a
either.
bunch of pictures. I would love to see Coral Castle.
That was another one that when I looked for updates, it's the same thing. Like so
Yeah.
many people are fascinated by it,
But
there's
there's
still
not a lot of
people going
updates.
to it, and
Yep.
just fascinated, but
Yep.
nobody really has any idea.
Is it me now?
Yeah.
Season 5, episode 4 was more Mandela effects, CERN, and whether or not we are living in a simulation. I love that. Love that topic.
Did I mention the Netflix series 1899?
Yes, but I don't have Netflix, so I haven't watched
Don't,
it.
because I will be
Okay.
shortly.
It's good. Kurt would actually really like
I
it.
heard. I'm going to watch that one that people... It's funny that people posted it in our group this morning about the movie that's on HBO Max that Olivia Wilde did that got all
Oh.
that controversy because...
Yeah, all I heard was all the drama.
But that
around
always shows
movie.
up in like stuff that I would
Harry
enjoy.
Styles
And
is
then,
in it or
then
whatever.
Strangers wrote this morning that I would love it, so I'm going to watch that probably tonight.
Don't Worry, Darling.
Yes,
Is
Don't
that what
Worry,
it's called?
Darling. Yep.
Episode 5 from season 5 was Strange States with Wisconsin and Wisconsin
Ooh,
creatures.
Hodag. Season 5, episode 6 was Dumbs, Deep Underground Military Bases, which I find fascinating.
Episode 7 was a mini mystery where I was on with the Lindbergh kidnapping, and we revisited Elisa Lamb because of the
Oh,
the
okay.
special.
Yep.
So, surprisingly, with the Lindbergh baby kidnapping being all the way back from 1932, there actually kind of was an update. A Princeton woman sued the state of New York to get access to evidence from the 1932 Lindbergh kidnapping case in a quest to exonerate the New York man executed for abducting the toddler from his East Amwell, New Jersey home and killing him. Margaret Sudhaker wants to use technology from this century, like DNA testing and all that, to, quote, clarify long-standing historical discrepancies and uncertainties, unquote, in the last century's so-called crime of the century. Sudhakar sued Governor Phil Murphy from the New Jersey State Police and the Attorney General in September in Superior State Court in Mercer County under the state's Open Public Records Act and has common right law to the public access of those files. She has filed public records requests for access to 14 sealed envelopes and 11 stamps, whatever that is. Police
Weird
said
that they're still sealed envelopes.
Yep, the police said the main suspect, Bruno Richard Hauptmann, used on the ransom notes, as well as the wood from the ladder the kidnapper used to climb into the 20-month-old Charles Lindbergh Jr.'s second-floor nursery. Originally, Murphy's office rejected her request, saying that they aren't the custodians of those records anymore, and the state police and the Attorney General's office failed to respond or to provide any written explanation of why they denied taking on this task. And in her complaint, she wrote that she's a researcher working with a New York-based screenwriter, Wayne McDaniel, and California-based film producer Chuck Braverman to compile a, quote, definitive documentary on the case that's been a favorite of documentary filmmakers.
Do they think that there's going to be an definitive outcome?
I guess if they get the records and
so
they
what's
unseal...
in these sealed? Like, why is so much stuff still sealed?
I don't know what they think is going to help by not having all that stuff out there.
That's interesting.
So that's the update for that.
I feel like we're getting to the point now where we're not going to have a lot of updates because these are getting to be pretty recent.
Yeah.
Huh.
So apparently they have the ransom notes, the envelopes, the ladder, and other evidence has been stored in the state police archives since 1980 or up until 1981, when then Governor Brendan Byrne issued an executive order declaring the evidence in the case historical, and therefore removing it and putting it into a public storage area where it remains today. So that's it for that one.
I would love to hear some update on that one.
Especially since 1932.
Yeah, and I think it's past. I think anybody involved with that is gone by now. Season 5, Episode 8 was a catch-up episode. I don't remember what we did in there, but we caught up, apparently.
Not the condiment?
It was just all about ketchup. We taste tested a bunch of different ketchups.
Oh.
Season 5, Episode 9 was the Hat Man Revisited.
Devin was here for that one.
Okay.
And Devin had some creepy
He's had a Hat
Man experiences.
He's had Hat Man experiences, yes.
Chapter 5. Season 5, Episode 10 was Listener Stories. So we haven't had one every season. No, and the next one is, again, one of my favorites.
Yep, that was the Missing 411 Spotlight for Trenny Gibson.
I love the Trenny Gibson story.
So she was the one
that stopped on the trail and looked off the side of the trail and then...
So it's Small Town Monsters. That's what I was trying to come up with before. I just watched one where one of the guys went in solo and walked right past there, went up on the...
Really?
What is that thing called?
Andrews Bald?
Yeah, it's that...
Oh, you're talking about that big thing?
Yeah, the structure you can walk up with.
Klingman's Dome.
Yes, Klingman's Dome. He walked up there and was taking video. It was so crowded.
Yeah.
It was crazy crowded. It's like a total tourist attraction.
Yeah.
But yeah, he stayed overnight in a tent and was doing like Bigfoot research or whatever. But
did he bring up Trenny Gibson?
No, he didn't.
Oh, I really want some sort of update. I'm fascinated with the Trenny Gibson story. Season 5, Episode 12 was another one that listeners seemed to like, and that was the story of Ariel and the Clockwork Elves. The place that you would see taking drugs and the little creatures you would see taking drugs that we kind of got back into a little bit in the last episode with the wheel. But yeah, people loved the Ariel and the Clockwork Elves episode.
And what was that? The ayahuasca?
That was, where you overdose on...
Not Benadryl? Was that
it was Benadryl?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were joking about that recently on the Strangers.
Yeah. Yep.
Episode 13 was Strange State Episodes, and that was from Colorado.
Episode 14 of Season 5 was another mini mystery. It was Todd Geib and the Image of Guadalupe, where the Image of Guadalupe supposedly has all those pictures of, like, in the eyes, the pictures of people that they believe it's a supernatural thing.
Episode 15 from Season 5 was the Bermuda Triangle, and I have updates, but not necessarily of the Bermuda Triangle. The Netflix original series 1899 centers on the story of the steamship of the Caraberos, which comes across a missing ship while traveling across the Atlantic Ocean on a routine voyage from Europe to New York. The captain feels compelled to investigate this abandoned ship, which has been missing for 4 months now, stranded in the middle of the unrelenting Atlantic. Those brave souls who decide to search the Prometheus are astounded by what they find on board. And basically, people wanted to know, was it based on the Bermuda Triangle? And I think the producer said it was inspired by, but not based on.
I would say no. just knowing what happens.
Yeah.
I should really watch
I mean,
that.
there was a lot
When
of...
you first start it, totally
Yeah.
you're going to think that.
Yep.
And then secondly, for the Bermuda Triangle, the history show starting 12/6 called The Bermuda Triangle Into Cursed Waters. During filming, they located a 20-foot segment of the 1986 Challenger NASA mission that exploded.
Whoa,
Really?
really?
Yeah, I did not know
During
that.
the filming for that
Dang, I did not know that.
That's crazy.
Bermuda Triangle
Yeah, that is crazy.
from the History Channel show, which actually starts on the 6th.
I don't think the Bermuda Triangle has anything to it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
That's so. I don't know if they're going to show it, but during the filming of it, they found a 20-foot
I'd like to
section
actually watch
of
that.
So.
I'd like to actually see that. Season 5, episode 16 was our side sessions preview where we talked about the Empire State Building crash, which I think is
That was a good one.
fascinating. Yep. 517 was a big one.
Was it?
Huh?
Was it?
That was actually our
the 100th episode.
that was our 100th episode.
We had
counted
a cake from Kayla.
Yes, I counted correctly. That was our 100th episode. And that one was great. We had listeners call in and talked about the podcast, listening to the podcast. And we had people write in. I loved our 100th episode. I really did. And we're on our way to our 200th.
You?
Oh, 518, episode 18, season 5 was EVP Revisited. I just remember you and I being like, wow, we did have a lot of good EVPs.
Yeah, we did.
I think
There's probably more we could
have
still
more
go
that we could
through.
do. Yeah, we played a lot of our EVPs we caught on investigations, and people love the EVP episodes.
Episode 19 was a mini mystery of the Sheboygan Asylum and the Chase family vault.
The moving coffins. 520, this was kind of a two-parter. Episode 20, season 5 was about the miracle at Fatima, or Fatima, whichever way you want to pronounce it, where they saw the sun move and stuff. And then next one.
So that would be 22 now, because the 21 was the Vatican Secrets and Fatima Prophecies, basically.
I have that as 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a separate episode. Yep.
So
522, the 22nd episode was another missing 4-in-1 spotlight. That was on Stacey Harris. And just
Which one was that?
That was a missing 401 spotlight on Stacey Harris. She was just a girl that went. Didn't she go? She was like a horseback rider, and
yeah,
she was like the first one that kind of started the whole missing 4-in-1 ball of wax, and just general weirdness around Yosemite.
Why is that story not ringing a bell
I don't
with
know.
me at all?
I don't know. Were you here for that one? Just general Yosemite weirdness around the Yosemite area.
There was an episode once where I was sick and I had no voice, and Kory basically had to take over for me.
Yep.
We were at the school.
Yep. Episode 5. No, season 5, episode 23 was our season finale, which was listener stories for that season. And listener stories always popular.
It's one of my favorite episodes.
And supposedly a Christmas episode that Kory was on.
I feel like I've been here a lot.
About armchair treasure hunts.
Oh, that was a fun episode.
That was a fun episode. And one interesting thing that just happened this week, did I talk about the golden apple tail in that episode?
Just briefly.
Okay, because there's a one from 1982 called The Golden Apple Tail. That's this really amateurish looking book with like kind of crude illustrations, and there is a jeweled gold apple buried somewhere. And the book is like impossible to find. There's a PDF of it that everybody is going off of, but people are working on this from time to time. I love this one. And it's written by a Cam Kaskin. And the way the Cam Kaskin name is made, it's obviously a code or it's like a cipher for the author's real name.
Okay.
But people have been working on this since 82. I work on it all the time. And like one of the big questions, like there's 3 big questions. Where was this golden apple hidden? Is it still there? And who is Cam Kaskin? And this week, a podcast came out by the guys that do the Secret podcast that they managed to figure out who Cam Kaskin actually is. And one of the guys went to his house in Michigan and talked to him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the guy said he went there and knocked on the door and this guy opened and he's like, this is a really weird question, but there's this treasure hunt from 1982. Are you Cam Kaskin? And the guy's like, yeah, I am.
Wow.
And the guy said it is still out there. It is still buried. We know now that it is in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area.
Really?
So, yeah. So now everybody's back. You know, we don't know. They didn't say who the guy was. The guy didn't want his name known, but he's like, yeah, he's like, I was riding the coattails of Masquerade, the treasure hunt that came out in the 70s, and nobody really bought the book. So it's kind of a flop. So I just left the thing buried where it is. And he said, I go by it quite often. I drive by it quite often. And I'm worried that construction's going to get it, but it's still there.
So that apple is still right.
So it is still there from like, I would love to be the first person to touch that apple since 1982. And it's a really pretty apple, you know. I messaged the girl or the lady that I thought did the illustrations. I messaged her on Facebook years ago, but she never read it because I went to her, not her friends folder, you know, so she never read it. But it just floors me that, and this guy was like stunned that they figured out who he was. So it just floors me that this thing is still out there. So now people are kind of working, because the secret has kind of hit a standstill. There's like nothing going on in the secret. So now people are kind of looking at this one. And I got my first ever phone message from a guy that read my article about the golden apple tail on Mysterious Writings. I was at school one day and I got a voicemail, and it's like, is this Kory Konecny that works for Mysterious Writings? Because he wanted to tell me what his idea was. And he had not known that this just came out this week. So he thought it was in Nebraska. And I'm like, no, a podcast just came out yesterday saying that it's actually near Grand Rapids. So yeah, so now I'm like hardcore studying that, looking at maps of Grand Rapids, trying to figure out where they would have put it. It's just super interesting that came out this week. So there you go. That was season 5.
Yeah, and that brings us to basically our current season.
January 30th, 2022.
It's crazy. Doppelgangers.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about episode 2. I totally forgot we did that. Who's Matthew?
Matthew Thornton?
Yes, Matthew Thornton.
His letters are hanging right behind Kory.
Yep, that was like the update on Matthew Thornton, because we got those letters from him, which amazes me. That
I still can't believe he sent us.
I still can't believe he sent us it either, but I love those letters. They're so cool.
Not that I'll ever be able to decipher them, but they're cool.
No. So the episode was about the update of getting his letters, and it was about the blood house where there was blood all over that they couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
Episode 3 was the Danny Casolaro and the octopus.
Yep, Danny Casolaro that supposedly killed himself in the bathtub, and his octopus theory about all this corruption and stuff going on.
That was another one that when I looked up updates, it's constantly in the news, and people are constantly
talking about it, but there's nothing new about it.
It's just another ones that everybody kind of like wants to get their input on.
Season 6, episode 4 was about the Glimmer Man, the creature that
like the predator.
Yeah, like the predator-like creature that can make itself invisible. People loved that episode.
Episode 5 was a mini mystery with Summerwind and the Belmez faces.
Yep, Summerwind and the Belmez faces, the faces that appeared on the floor. Episode 6 of this season was Strange States, Arizona.
Shout out to
AZ.
Episode 7 was a follow-up episode for John Teeter, the Tate House, and Mothman.
Yeah, Tate House is still weird to me, where the person could hear the stuff from underneath the basement. Yep. 6-8 I forgot about, and that was actually like a really interesting case. The 6-8 was about Laura Snediger, the one that showed up dead in the field. Was it in the field, and they're trying to figure out what happened with her? That one was and that one guy, who was it that every time he went with somebody, they'd mysteriously die? Like, he took the person on the airplane, and then he came back by himself. And
I can't remember.
I don't remember, but that was a really interesting episode. I just don't remember a whole ton about it now.
And that's this season. That's funny.
Yep.
9 was the Dice Man Side Sessions preview.
Yeah, the guy that would roll the dice and figure out what he was going to do. I'm just going to do the next one as 2 of them. Episodes 10 and 11 were a 2-part about the smiley face killers.
12 was the current state of UFO research.
Episode 13 was the Circleville Letters. Kory was here for that.
That was
and the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter with the goblins and the farmhouse.
Oh, yes.
14 was John Keel and Jacques Vallée.
Yep. I like that episode, too.
That was a popular episode, too. From
episode 15 was Strange States, New York.
16 was Poltergeists.
Episode 17, and this is the one that floors me, because this one was meant to be I don't want to say a time waster, a placeholder for a better episode because stuff was going on and I didn't have time to research anything. So I did Spooky Woods Stories.
That was a great
And that turned
episode.
out to be like our most popular episode this season. Like everybody loved that. So it's like, I could just be copying Reddit stories. And so I am still doing that. If I find a really good Reddit story, I put it in a notepad. So I have, for next season, we're going to have non-wood stories because I have a bunch of them. But everybody loved the strange wood stories.
18 was a mini mystery of Tina Resch and Brandon Swanson.
Yep. Episode 19 was a missing 411 spotlight about Dennis Martin. And I love that we got email or messages from listeners saying that they were happy that we didn't pursue a paranormal route, that it was just a...
It's just a missing person's case.
Yeah, it was just a missing person's case.
20 was listener stories.
Episode 21 was Strange States, Haunted Wisconsin.
22 was the end of the season leftovers with Wisconsin stuff in the wheel.
And the wheel. That people, it was weird to hear accounts from listeners, from strangers who actually experienced the wheel. So there you go. There is a look back at the history of the strange sessions.
2 hours and 9 minutes worth of...
Oof. Longer than I thought.
Oofta.
And you guys still talk about, like, going forward with it. You guys aren't bored with it. You guys aren't.
It amazes me that we don't flake on each other. Like, we know we're going to be here this day, and it's so easy. Like I told Kory on the way down, it sucks when I look up a podcast because I'm researching something and I find one about Trinity Gibson and I listen to it. And I'm like, dang, this is a good podcast. And then I look and that was like their 4th and final episode. Oh. Like some of them just fall apart and just stop. And like, we don't. Like, it's nice to know that Krista knows if I say I'm going to be here, she knows I'm going to be here. And if like she knows, if I know she knows I'm coming, I know she's going to be ready. So it's just, we're perfect. It'd be weird
if I weren't here when you got here.
It would be weird if you weren't here. Then that would be the next episode is where's Krista? Yeah.
I mean, obviously I talk to you more than I talk to Krista, but you've never once said that you're burnt out.
I get burnt out on research, but I don't
actually the episodes or continuing forward or, sure, you may get burnt out from researching, but you don't complain about like, I want to take 4 months off or whatever.
No.
I will say, being very candid, I do enjoy our little break.
Oh, I do too.
Because for me, it has nothing to do with like research burnout. It's every other Saturday. I have to get up super early.
Yeah. No, 100%.
No sleeping in. So I'm looking forward to having some every Saturday.
But then generally by the end of January, we get a little itchy and we're ready to go again. So
totally.
I like our breaks too, but then I also find myself like, this is my usual research time. So like I said, I think I'm just going to dive back in. So maybe next season I won't have to stress as much about getting burnt out on research. But the thing is like a lot of our listeners like message us about how we help them get through bad times. And I think they don't realize sometimes that this podcast, doing this, gets me through some crappy times. As much as it means to you guys, it means just the same to us.
I also think that in the future, we could do more conversational stuff where you don't have to do as much research too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny because Aaron said, Krista interrupts you a lot when you're talking on the podcast.
Oh my God. Did he really?
Yes, he did. And I'm like, I feel like you don't enough.
I think that's me trying to get a word in edgewise.
And like, if anybody, like I never like invite myself to the podcast. Like the only reason I'm ever on here is because you're like, hey, why don't you come on?
Because we love having you on. We really do. We think you do a great job. And listeners love having you on.
And that's why I think if Aaron does come on next season, it'd be nice to have somebody different. But it's like I never force myself to come on. The only reason I'm on is because you asked me to come on.
It would actually be kind of nice to have you here when Aaron's here because I feel like Aaron's a little nervous about coming on.
Oh, could be.
So it would be, and he knows you, so I think it would be nice.
Yeah.
But no, you're like our most requested co-host.
Maybe.
Jump into song before we run out of time. Before it gets too big for Krista to save like it did last time.
Yeah, I had to save it in 2 chunks for the copy page.
So let's jump into song. Kory, I have 2 of them. So Kory, you go first with your song choice because I've never heard your song and I feel like I should have.
My song is from 1975. There really isn't anything in my genre, that metalcore, that like struck me over the last couple months. So I was thinking about a song that I like that, probably isn't as popular as I think it might be, being as you've never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's from the band The Outlaws, and it's Green Grass and High Tides.
Okay.
And I've never heard of it. He played it for me when on the drive down here.
It's by The Outlaws, which is a southern rock band.
So I know of The Outlaws.
Okay.
They did like a version of Ghost Riders in the Sky back in the day that was
Probably.
like huge. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of their best known, and it's been on a lot of album-oriented radio stations, although it was never released as a single. It's notable for having 2 extended guitar solos that stretch the song to almost 10 minutes. So it's kind of Freebird-ish. It kind of does have that southern rock sound to it.
It does. It sounds like
Skinner,
like
something like that.
Allman Brothers.
Allman Brothers.
Brothers.
It had very Allman Brothers vibe.
And the guy said it's kind of like how he felt when he would hear songs from people that had died, so like Janis Joplin and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're basically having like a little concert just for you. You're able to sit back and listen to a song and wishing you'd be able to see it be performed in person, but at that moment it's just directed to you. So that's mine. It's The Outlaws with Green Grass and High Tides.
Cool. And we were parked at Love's when he played it for me, and I was like, I never heard this before, and I'm like, good.
Are they even like a band anymore?
I don't think they tour that much.
Okay.
I must imagine they probably play a couple of one-offs here and there, but as to whether they're still active or not, I don't know.
So I'm going with 2 songs, and these are both kind of like last episode. These both have a theme to them, and it just worked out that way. The first one has kind of a long story behind it, and the thing is, if you know me, I'm not really hip with music that's currently popular. I'm just not. I listen to my own. I'm like, Aaron always laughs because I'm notorious for him telling me this song is awesome, and then all of a sudden, like 6 years later, I'll be like, this song is awesome. Like I don't listen to a lot of modern music, especially anything hip hoppy. That's like not my thing. So, and
Except the Beastie Boys.
Except the Beastie Boys. But it's funny because everybody knows this song, and I didn't. But last year, the last week of school, we do a thing where it's kind of part of math class where we basically in our basement, last year was in our basement level of the school, we do a carnival. And there's all games all along the hallway. Like students, there's like a cup guessing game. You get prizes. If you find this, you can get a handful of candy. You get prizes. And they're all supposed to be math based, but last year they weren't. Like Layla and Haley, two students that I'm close with, ran a photo booth where they had like a Polaroid camera, and they had all sorts of costumes, and you could wear stuff, and so they did that. So it's just fun. It's like the whole basement floor, and then you have like 8th graders, 7th graders wandering down and like playing the games. You get tickets and stuff. And 2 of the girls that I knew, Juana and Rihanna, had a booth there. That I don't remember if theirs was a dart throwing. It was something like that. And it's weird because I remember this vividly, this moment. Like, I'm playing their game, and you're not supposed to have a phone, but it was the last week of school, so we're like, whatever. So Juana had her phone, and she had it attached to a speaker, so it's playing music while you're doing this. And I'm playing this game, and I'm like listening to this song, and I'm like, who is this? I really like this song. And I think Rihanna said, I'm not sure. I think it's like 5 years old. And then Juana said, I think it's Jay-Z. So I ended up using my phone. I ended up asking Siri. I'm like, who is this? So listen to the song, but you guys will know what song I'm talking about. And this is from, and it's so weird because it was just such a weird, dumb little moment, but I vividly remember where I was and all this stuff. So it's just weird, but you guys are going to know where this is from, coming from the YouTube comments. Somebody writes, 2022, and this song is still making me feel goosebumps. And this actually, I'm going to play the live one because there's kind of an interesting story about that. So the next person writes, their energy is close to matching the energy of the crowd and the city. I wake up to this song every morning.
We're already.
Yeah, we
Alicia Keys is in this too.
I wake
right?
up. Yep, I wake up every morning. The song pumps me up every morning. Somebody else writes, when I hear this song, I always think of going for my dreams, no matter what they are, and accomplishing them. Somebody else says they made history right there, and it's pure on their face, and they knew it. It was a magical performance. Somebody else says, I remember he was said to miss the flight to get to this performance, so she intended to perform it solo with his voice recorded in the background. Her reaction and the band's reaction when he came on stage was a genuine one. And somebody else writes, never been, you're going to get it from this. Somebody else writes, never been to New York City, but this performance makes me nostalgic about it. And
I know what performance you're talking about, too. I've seen it.
Like, it's
the
Empire
song,
State of
yeah.
Mind by
Jay-Z
Alicia
and
Keys
Alicia
and Jay,
Keys.
and it's like.
Yeah.
Like, it's stuck in my head like all the time now. One of the students heard me singing it to myself the other day, and she's like, "You're in a weirdly good mood today," and it's just like stuck in my head. And it's just like, I remember when the song came out, but I would never like listen to it. And it's the fact that I was there when Juana and Rihanna had this playing on the speaker, and it's such a good song, and it just makes me mad that sometimes I'm not knowledgeable about current songs because it's such a good song, and you can see that performance is like amazing, where you can see like she's super happy that he comes out because he wasn't supposed to come out. So my first song is Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, and it's her performing it live in Times Square in 2016.
Did you ever listen to the collaboration between Jay-Z and Linkin Park?
No. I probably like it.
Yeah, you should listen to the 99 Problems version. It's Linkin Park in the background playing like the guitar and drums to their songs, but it sounds so good mixed in with 99 Problems from Jay-Z that obviously Linkin Park has like Chester, which was the lead singer. Then you have the other guy who was like the rapper.
Yeah.
So he raps part of Jay-Z's verse, then Jay-Z raps, but it's all over Linkin Park's background music.
Yeah.
And it's like a mesh that you think wouldn't be good, but it's
But
super
it is.
good.
Yeah. Well, that's like somebody made a mashup of Jay-Z and Beyonce singing one of their songs along with Toto's Africa, and it's really good.
Wow.
So maybe I just need to listen to more Jay-Z. But I was like, I really love this song, but it's not so much his part, but it's Alicia Keys' part that is like the part
That's
of the
the
song.
powerful part. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my first song is Empire State of Mind. My second song, one of my all-time favorite bands. Some of the YouTube comments for this are. The song always makes me feel very sad and lonely until the chorus, which makes me feel invincible. It's amazing how the beginning tells of great solitude and the end is triumphant. Somebody else writes, stuck between smiling and crying. This is what the song describes. Somebody else writes, a sad song that needs to be played loud. Somebody else says, this music video is just so powerful. When you lose someone you love, life goes on for everybody else except for you because you just feel empty inside. I don't think you're going to get this one because this isn't a super well-known song. Somebody else writes, this is the official anthem for the nostalgic, the drunk, and the heartbroken. And somebody else writes, I'm late to comment on this, but I just wanted to say how this song, even after 8 years, still touches the heart. The arrangement, his voice, the lyrics, everything. Not to mention the power and simplicity of the video. His facial expressions exuding the pain of losing someone he loves while life continues to go on around him. Amazing song from amazing artists. And following the theme, it is the song New York by Snow Patrol. I love Snow Patrol.
So 2 songs about New York.
Yes, so 2 songs about New York. Like Snow Patrol, I think, are one of the best bands out there. I think they're amazing, and people just know them for Chasing Cars, which is a great song, but kind of overplayed. But this is the song New York, and it is. It's the singer Gary is like sitting at the bar, like kind of crying because he lost somebody, and everybody at the bar around him is like having fun. And it's kind of like how, when you're hurt, other people aren't. So it is the song New York by Snow Patrol. I will post them both in the group.
So I was going to tell everyone to go to Netflix and watch Wednesday because it is so good.
I heard it's really good. I did hear it's really good.
I loved it. And I'm not like a huge Addams Family person. Like I've watched the old movies with Christina Ricci or whatever, and they were fun and quirky or whatever. There are some hardcore Addams Family people out there, but I loved it. Jim watched it with me too. I mean, she is just delightful. The girl who plays Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's Tim Burton.
Ortega.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Tim Burton film. It's very obviously a Tim Burton film, but he does such a good job creating a little universe, and I loved it. I loved everything about it.
The one Wednesday Addams thing that never will get old to me, and I just watched it this week, is the YouTube video of her on the old black and white Addams Family dancing with Lurch.
Oh, yes,
but they put it to the
too.
song Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth, and it is so perfectly synchronized. It's just so good.
I think that Addams Family knocked Stranger Things off
It did.
most watched or most hours watched of a show on Netflix
Really?
history.
Dang.
So,
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
I still don't like Netflix for not giving a 3rd season to American Vandal.
oh yeah,
I will die on the hill that
Well,
American
also
Vandal is
now-
one of the best ever shows, like ever.
They're trying to catch people who log in under other people's
Yeah.
credentials
Yep.
now too and
Yeah.
charging them for it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, now Netflix is just a running joke of 2 seasons and it gets taken off.
Yeah, well, yeah. But American Vandal was so good. Never
was.
seen it. Go watch it. Is that all we got?
Well, it's 2.5 hours worth of stuff, so
Okay,
I
so
feel like we're okay.
That's plenty. So that is it for season 6.
Dang.
Anything you would like to say, Kory, before we sign off?
No, I just keep hearing about this Christmas episode, but I don't believe it.
No. There's talk on the dark web. There's talk in red rooms about it, so we'll see.
Electronic surveillance.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they'll hear something
There's
about
chatter. The number stations are talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there could be a Christmas episode.
I don't believe it.
I doubt it.
There will be. So yeah, there might be a Christmas episode
That we may be recording within the next 10 minutes.
Exactly. But seriously, you guys, thank you so much for listening. 6 seasons in, and like I said,
5 seasons in a movie.
5 seasons in a movie. Just know that wherever you are in the world, wherever you're listening to us, just thank you for listening to us and for
being part of our family.
For sticking with our ramshackle little podcast that doesn't always pan out like we wanted to. So just thank you so much, like you said, for being part of our family, for listening to us, for caring about us, for caring what we do. Like we said, you guys help us get through the bad stuff just as much as we help you get through the bad stuff. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Just our deets.
Just our deets. Oh, and there's a new deet in here.
Yeah.
Except I don't apparently have it on this.
Was there a question?
Oh yeah.
No, there wasn't a new. There was not a new
I'm
question.
not sure we have time for a question.
No, and I forgot to put the new deets thing on this form apparently. But so it'll be in the start of the next season, which is okay. You can email us at thestrangesessions@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at Strange Session without the final S. We are on Instagram where Krista does an amazing job, and we have amazing fans on Instagram.
We do.
At the Strange Sessions, you can don't send us anything right now because we're not going to be recording for a while, and I need to pay for another 6 months of the P.O. Box. The Strange Sessions, P.O. Box 434, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, 54221-0434. You can call our lonely little phone line at 920-443-9602. And I just want to see something right here, see if it's on here. And it's not, but I have a new email address. Oh, I do have it on here. And if you have a story about something paranormal or weird that happened to you, you can email listener stories to thestrangesessionsstories@gmail.com.
So is it the Strange
It
Sessions?
is the Strange Sessions Stories.
Okay. Stories.
Stories. Okay. Yeah, I tried to make it easier, but it's hard. I could have done just Strange Sessions, but I like the Strange Sessions Stories
okay.
at gmail.com. Because our email is at the Strange Sessions, so just add stories to that.
Yes.
If you have anything paranormal happen, let us know, and we will read it. So
Cool.
I think that's it for season 6.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a wrap.
it's a wrap. Another one in the books. We'll be back, hopefully, in January.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Barring an apocalypse, I guess.
Apocalypse would be cool, too. So I think from Kory, Krista, and myself, Kory, thank you again for being here.
You're welcome.
You are very much loved on this podcast, so thank you for being here. And from Krista, Kory, and myself from The Strange Cellar, until next season, stay
Stay strange.
strange.